Chapter 610. Except for a few members with 9 blood, the rest of the core members were basically the same. Those who could become core members were the elites of the elites. Talent wasn't the only factor that increased strength. For example, Sword St. Luo's son had gone from a quasi-core member to an 8-blood assassin. It was even possible for him to become a 9-blood assassin in the future. However, it was more likely for him to be promoted to a Nemo first. Only super geniuses like Titan and Blood Shadow could. Blood Evil Temple, Blood Hidden Valley, Exchange Office. Lin Feng nodded. With Meng Huangfeng and Jian Danden's careful introduction, Lin Feng knew a lot about the Blood Evil Field. The first valley they saw was the Hidden Blood Valley. The retired core members of the Blood Assassins lived in the valley. The 7 blood and 8 blood were the Guardians, while the 9 blood and 10 blood were the Elders. Among them, they could spar with the Guardians at any time. If they wanted to learn from a master, they could find a 9 or 10 blood elder. However, just like the 5th Hall Master, they might not succeed. The exchange office was here. All Blood Tower's hard arts, martial arts, St. Crystals, pills, and treasures could be exchanged. The exchange price was cheaper, and there were more items available. Outside the exchange office was where the Blood Assassins gathered. They chatted, gossiped, and exchanged information. Compared to the ordinary members, the core members were closer. Not counting the Blood Assassins who retired from the Blood Hidden Valley, there are 3 9-blood assassins as the core members. Ronghua from Blood Tower No. 1 is undoubtedly the strongest. Shimanzi from Blood Tower No. 2 is known as the Devil's Snare Flower and is known as the most beautiful woman in the Blood Tower. She has many admirers. The last one is Blood Tower 3's Tuobiyu, handsome and elegant. Lin Feng paid special attention to these 3. This was his goal. Just like Sword St. Luo's son, there was competition and challenge. Only then would there be motivation. Titan. Lin Feng also wanted to meet this super genius whose strength was not inferior to Blood Shadow's. Titan was very similar to him, proficient in the Tao of Light and the Tao of Lightning. They walked the path of the Titans, which was a fusion of light and thunder. That was why they were called Titans. I heard that he can easily fuse with the Titan Holy Chi. Lin Feng pondered. Currently, there were 113 core members. Titan was one of the 7 9-blooded ones. The first to leave was Sword St. Lawson. In the Bloodfiend field, most people moved alone. They would only gather at the exchange office to exchange information and stay for a while. Just like the dual swords youth, Lawson also leaped into the sky and broke through the sky barrier. The next to leave was Wang Feng. He had just come out of the Bloodfiend Temple and stayed here for a while before returning to the Blood Tower through the blood-colored door. The 33 blood-red doors were located in the Blood Evil Temple. Blood Hidden Valley, at the center of the 3 landmark buildings of the exchange office. With the Blood Slaughter token, one would be able to return from whichever door they entered from. I'm leaving. See you next time. Jian Danden smiled with a pair of dimples. She was very cute. All right, goodbye. Lin Feng smiled and nodded. He watched as Jian Danden left. Her destination was different from Sword Saint and Wasp. She was heading to the Blood Hidden Valley. Jian Danden had a 9-blooded elder as her teacher. People came and went. The exchange office was always filled with people in 2s and 3s. There were about a dozen people. During this time, many core members came to greet him. Lin Feng also met many people and made some ordinary friends. He said goodbye to some core members he had just met. Lin Feng also left. Right now, he had nothing to exchange for. Blood Hidden Valley. Lin Feng's heart was moved. Entering the Blood Hidden Valley was a good choice. According to Jian Danden, the blood mist energy there was very dense. It was the same type as the blood mist forest. Even if he didn't cultivate the Yin Holy Chi, the density of the energy of heaven and earth was comparable to the 8th floor of the Blood Tower. However, it was pointless to become a disciple just for a place to cultivate. For the time being, he had no intention of becoming a disciple. Let's go to the Bloodfiend field. Lin Feng smiled. His figure flashed and disappeared in an instant. The Bloodfiend field was like an oasis in the vast desert. Compared to the vast Bloodfiend field, it was just a drop in the ocean. It was an insignificant existence. There was no need to deliberately find the direction. As long as he walked in the opposite direction from the blood-red door, he could reach the border of the blood fiend field. Whoosh, whoosh, it was like a gurgling stream of water. It was exactly the same as the blood fiend hall's cylindrical water wall in the sky. It was like a layer of membrane that separated the blood fiend field from the blood fiend world. Lin Feng took out the blood-killing token. It was still flashing with blood-red light. Is that so? Lin Feng held the blood-killing token in his hand and directly passed through it. Suddenly, everything in front of him changed. Thick blood-red light shrouded the area. The pure blood-red light carried a strong, murderous aura that made one's blood boil. There was a strong impulse deep in one's heart that made one want to kill to their heart's content. Lin Feng opened his eyes with the true I Saint power in his sea of consciousness. His breath was stable. True Yin, blood Saint Qi. Lin Feng looked around. The black skeleton in his hand shone with black light. This is the first realm of the blood fiend field, the blood realm. Lin Feng walked forward unhurriedly. The black skeleton in his hand exuded dark devil Saint Qi. It carried a surging battle intent. The challenge in its eyes was bright. Boom! Lin Feng's blade was as heavy as Mount Tai. His landslide was becoming more and more perfect. Under the immense pressure, a monster covered in blood-colored scales with eyes filled with killing intent roared and fell into a pool of blood. This is the monster unique to the blood realm, the blood fiend. Lin Feng's eyes flashed. As a blood fiend died, its essence turned into a blood-red pearl. Lin Feng held it in his hand and laughed. Pure blood saint pearl. No, the energy is purer than the pure blood saint pearl. Interesting. Putting the blood saint pearl into his pocket, Lin Feng continued forward. The boundless blood fiend world had no end. There was only one monster in the first realm of the blood realm. It was called the blood fiend. The blood fiend was only at the 7 blood level. It was not a threat to Lin Feng. Lin Feng practiced his blade as he moved forward. The number of blood saint pearls in his pocket increased. Actually, the real threat here is not the blood fiend. It is the blood energy that exists everywhere. It has a deep influence on one's consciousness. It is easy to fall into a frenzied state of killing. Qi, Lin Feng killed another blood fiend. The 878th blood kill, Saint Orb. Lin Feng smiled. Suddenly, his eyes lit up. In the blood-red world, not far away, a fog-like door appeared. It was as if it existed in the clouds. My luck is not bad. Lin Feng increased his speed. Shua. Chapter 611. The second realm of the bloody evil world. This is the realm of hidden fog that Dandan mentioned. Lin Feng looked around. The fog was thin, and the difference in visibility was even better than the realm of bloody evil. However, to a warrior, the mind's eye was usually clearer than the naked eye. The hidden fog demon also has 7 blood fighting power. Lin Feng knew that every realm in the bloody evil world had a door that led to the next realm. He could pass through it directly, and the blood-killing token had memories. For example, if he wanted to enter the second realm, the realm of hidden fog, he didn't need to enter the first realm, the realm of bloody evil. I can enter from the sky in the future. Lin Feng smiled. He didn't know what was above the sky before, but now he knew. The realm of bloody evil was outside the bloody evil field, while the realm of hidden fog was above the bloody evil field. As long as he entered the realm of hidden fog, the blood-killing token would have memories, and he could enter directly afterward. If he wanted to find the door to the second realm from the first realm, it would take him a few hours. If he was unlucky, he might not even find it after a few days. My luck is not bad. Lin Feng felt the aura and energy around him. There is no blood energy here at all. There is only pure fog energy. Logically speaking, it should be harder than the first realm. Lin Feng walked forward slowly. However, he didn't feel any danger. The blood energy in the realm of bloody evil could affect the mind, but the fog energy here didn't seem to have any other effect other than obscuring the vision of the naked eye. Lin Feng was pondering when his heart suddenly shook. Swoosh! Lin Feng's eyes shone. Suddenly, the true dragon saint power condensed, and a claw suddenly slashed through the clouds. but it was blocked by the true dragon Saint Power and collided with the indestructible Thunder Pearl armor head-on. With a loud bang, a powerful impact was felt, and Lin Feng used the force to retreat. His heart stopped. The impact was absorbed by the whirlpool, and Lin Feng wasn't injured. Oh! Lin Feng raised his eyebrows. Another claw appeared in the clouds in front of him. However, he was prepared this time and dodged it directly. Instantly, the superb, heavenly saint weapon, Black Centipede, counterattacked fiercely. Boom! The clouds parted, and a bead surrounded by a faint mist appeared in the void. It stopped there quietly. So this is the Misty Devil. Lin Feng took out the Misty Saint Pearl, which contained dense mist energy. Just like the Bloody Saint Pearl, this Misty Saint Pearl is also a Misty Saint Pearl. It's even purer than the energy of the pure Mist Saint Pearl. After suffering once, Lin Feng had become much smarter. The key to the hidden Mist Devil's attack was the word hide. It was not hiding, but completely hiding in the clouds. The most terrifying thing about it was that its body was shapeless. One moment it was in the clouds, and the next moment it was in the clouds in front of it, moving like water. No matter how it flows, Lin Feng's eyes burned with passion. The moment he attacks, he will appear. This time, he didn't even try to dodge. The black scorpion in his hand came after him, and the tyrannical 7 limits directly turned the tables on him. The hidden mist demon was suppressed by absolute power. The domineering power of the Saber Realm smashed the misty demon into pieces. The second style of the 7 limits, Landslide, is completely mastered. Lin Feng was very satisfied. 878 slashes in the Bloody Realm and 557 slashes in the Misty Realm. Landslide, which he was originally proficient in, was now perfect. Although it wasn't as powerful as the primordial heavenly demon Qi Yin in his memory, the essence of Landslide was fully displayed. The third style, Storm, I can put on my cultivation schedule. Lin Feng put away the Misty Saint Pearl. A figure. It slowly disappeared into the fog that filled the sky. The luck in the second realm was obviously not as good as in the first realm. He obtained more than 2,000 Misty Saint Pearls. Lin Feng still couldn't find a door. The black scorpion in his hand fell. Another Misty Saint Pearl appeared in his hand. Just as Dandin said, the door from the second realm to the third realm is very difficult to find. The door in the Bloody Realm could be seen from afar. But here, it was very difficult to see because it was covered by clouds and mist. The chances of finding it were undoubtedly much lower. Unlucky blood killers. There are also those who can't find the entrance to the third realm for half a month. Lin Feng practiced the third style, Storm, while looking for the entrance. He only stayed in the Bloody Realm for 4 hours, but here, it had been a full 10 hours. Not only was it difficult to find the entrance in the Misty Realm, but the killing efficiency was also slow. The Pure Blood and Pure Mist Saint Pearls cost 1 million Nemo dollars each. In terms of energy purity, the Bloody Saint Pearl and Hidden Mist Saint Pearl cost about 2 million Nemo dollars each. Lin Feng, who came from the Elemental Commerce Alliance, was very sensitive to prices and numbers. In terms of 24 hours a day, the killing speed in the Bloody Realm is about 200 to 300 per hour. In the Misty Realm, it's 150 to 250. So, an average 7 blood killer can earn about 12 billion Nemo dollars a day in the Bloody Realm. And in the Misty Realm, they can earn about 10 billion Nemo dollars. The price of a 7 blood mission fluctuates between 10 billion and 100 billion. It's basically the same, but the Bloody Realm is easier, and they can increase their combat power in constant battles. Compared to ordinary members, core members were treated better. Moreover, there were very few 7 blood missions, especially the exclusive 7 blood missions of the Blood Tower. There were only so many of them in a month. Most 7 blood killers of the Blood Tower would fight for at least 2 or 3. As for the 7 blood missions of the public, one could imagine how difficult it was. But in the Bloody Realm, a 7 blood killer with normal combat power could easily survive in the first and second realms. But it's a bit monotonous. Lin Feng killed another hidden mist demon that ambushed him. Well, the third style of the 7 limits, storm. This style should be the easiest for me to comprehend. It contains a trace of vortex concept. Lin Feng smiled. After practicing for less than an hour, he had some understanding of the blade intent of storm. Not in a hurry, Lin Feng patiently looked for the entrance. As long as the blood slaughter token had a memory, he could directly enter the third realm from the second realm next time. The key to storm is the word storm, and the shape of the wind, the speed of the wind, and the feeling of the wind. Actually, I could try to slowly unfold the blade intent from the vortex. There was nothing else in the path of the blade. Practice hard. Even if one's aptitude was peerless, one still needed to practice the sword day after day to achieve great success. Lin Feng had been in the Hidden Mist realm for a total of 3 days and 72 hours. Although the killing speed had slowed down because of practicing the blade intent, the number of hidden Miss St. Pearls had exceeded 10,000 in 3 days. Even Lin Feng himself couldn't remember the exact number. 10,000 pearls were equivalent to 20 billion Nemo dollars. Don't tell me I have to stay here for 10 days to half a month? Lin Feng grinned. He casually used the black skeleton in his hand, which was in the shape of the wind. The blade intent spread out wildly. While killing the hidden mist demons, it also blew away a small part of the mist. Suddenly, Lin Feng's eyes lit up. Not far away, a door was quietly shining. Extreme misfortune brings bliss. Chapter 612. Third Realm. Lin Feng chuckled and relaxed. Unlike the gate of the Realm of Blood, the gate in front of Lin Feng's eyes was cold and gloomy. Lin Feng took the sacred bead of hidden mist and came to the entrance. He let out a sigh of relief, just in time to practice the third move, Storm. With a smile, Lin Feng stepped in. Whoosh, whoosh. The moment he entered, he felt a chill that went deep into his bones and seeped into every part of his body. Whoosh, whoosh. The true dragon holy power surged into his body and protected him. Lin Feng looked around, and for the first time, he felt that his vision was clear. It was different from the realm of blood and the realm of hidden mist. The visibility here was quite high, but the environmental factors were far beyond the first and second realms. Energy. Lin Feng was shocked. According to Dandan, this was the place with the most blood assassins in the entire bloody world. Wasp, Dandan, and most of the 7 blood assassins and some of the 8 blood assassins came here to train. This realm was called the Cold Realm, and the only existence here was the Cold Devil. If the Bloodlust Devil and the Mist Devil were normal 7 blood assassins, then the Cold Devil was a peak 7 blood assassin, especially because the environment here was too harsh. Even heaven-grade armor couldn't stop the chilling energy from seeping in, and it kept depleting one's holy chi and holy power. The density of the chilling demons here is less than 10% of the first and second realms, but they're the most valuable. Lin Feng knew very well. Just like in the blood world, the pure sacred pearl was 100 times more valuable than the pure sacred pearl. 1 pearl was worth 100 million emo coins. The value of the chilling demon's sacred pearl was obvious. If he could get 10 to 15 pearls per hour, he could earn 50 billion Nemo coins in a day. According to Dandan, even the 4th realm couldn't compare to the speed of making money here. Therefore, as long as the core members were above the top 7 blood assassins, they would be able to get the chilling demon's sacred pearl. Those who could enter the chilling realm couldn't lack money, even if they wanted to. Oh, not long after entering, Lin Feng saw the first chilling demon. Like the bloodlust demons, the chilling demon had thin scales on its body, but it was much shorter than the bloodlust demons. It was only 2 meters tall like a dwarf. His body and bones were extremely sturdy, and his explosive power was strong. Stab! The gloomy devil attacked. His eyes were cold. Without any emotion, his speed reached the level of an 8 blood assassin. It was a demon. Since he was a demon, he had his own characteristics. Such power. Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat. His extreme grade heavenly saint weapon, Black Scorpion, immediately took action. Maintaining the 6th tier of titanium gray body, Lin Feng was still confident. With his current strength, he did not need to activate the 7th tier of the titanium gray body to possess the battle prowess of a top 7 blood. Chi! Chi! The gloomy devil's attack speed was fast and fierce. 2 arms slashed out like scythes. Lin Feng blocked with his saber, testing the cold, gloomy demon's strength. It was just as he had guessed. The frigid devil's power had also reached 8 bloodlines. Not only that, but its attacks were also infused with the holy chi of Yin, which was bone-chilling. Pa! The internal structure of his body was destroyed, and his cells were pierced by the cold Yin energy. It was similar to the effect of penetration. The battle prowess of a top 7 blood is indeed extraordinary. Lin Feng activated his whirlpool form and absorbed the holy chi of Yin. The first realm bloodthirst demon's strength was an absolute strength and attack, as well as the craziness of the blood state. The second realm hidden fog demon's strength was in its elusiveness. It was ethereal like the fog, and the cold, gloomy demon, absolute battle prowess. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. Just as Dandan said, in the bloody evil world, every 3 realms was a level, and the 3rd realm monsters were the strongest. However, still not strong enough. Lin Feng activated his saber realm and activated the Overlord's battle prowess. Although his body was not as strong as the cold, gloomy demon, his attack power was not inferior. A giant Chiyu demon appeared behind him, and the power of Lin Feng's 7 limits erupted instantly. Boom! Cold, gloomy pearl. Lin Feng took out a pearl similar to the pure Yin sacred pearl. Its energy was 1 level higher than the pure Yin sacred pearl, about 100 million Nemo dollars for one. It's a pity that the density of monsters in the cold, gloomy realm is less than 10% of the 1st and 2nd realms, and there are many core members. If I'm unlucky, I won't be able to get 10 pearls per hour. If I'm lucky, I'll get 10 at most. The cold, gloomy demon's body is strong. Its attack has a penetrative ability, but its attack power is poor, and it relies too much on its body. Lin Feng said softly. Actually, it was not just the cold, gloomy demon. The bloodthirst demon and the hidden fog demon were the same. The individual formed by the sacred pearl only had the intention to attack, and no other consciousness. Therefore, although the bloodthirst demon had the body strength of an 8 blood, it could only unleash the power of a top 7 blood. Continue. Lin Feng looked for the entrance to the 4th realm. As he hunted the cold, gloomy demons, he practiced his saber technique. Lin Feng was neither fast nor slow. To him, he was not short of money, so he did not need to hunt the cold, gloomy demons endlessly. Instead, obtaining more information about the bloody evil world was the most important. The 4th realm, Jian Dandan and Wang Feng, whom he had met previously, had only reached this level. Even a top 7 blood cannot pass the 4th realm, Lin Feng thought to himself. It's at least the standard of an 8 blood. His blood was boiling. To him, that was the real challenge. The entrance, I hope it's not as hard to find as the 2nd realm. Lin Feng smiled bitterly. According to Dandan, the 3rd realm's cold, gloomy demon density was less than 10% of the 1st realm's, including the entrance. It was the same. 10 hours, 20 hours. In the blink of an eye, Lin Feng had been killing in the cold, gloomy realm for 2 days, a total of 48 hours. 6th day in the bloody, evil world. 750 beads. Lin Feng killed the cold, gloomy demon after a round of fighting. Then, he sat cross-legged, removed his titanium gray body, and recovered his strength. Different from the 1st and 2nd realms, the 3rd realm required the consumption of titanium elemental energy. Although it was only the 6th realm, it would be depleted after a long battle. He had to replenish it. Fortunately, the cold, gloomy realm was vast and sparse. Normally, he would not encounter cold, gloomy demons while cultivating. There were pros and cons. Moreover, cultivating here was twice the result with half the effort. Little Yin, keep watch for me, Lin Feng said softly and quickly immersed himself in his thoughts. Now that little Yin had merged her yin and yang, it was easy to digest the sky-devouring wolf's inner core. However, it took a long time to swallow the heaven demon Emperor Wu Luan's blood essence. Fortunately, little Yun had already condensed her life essence core. If she swallowed it during the transformation period, she would definitely be devoured by the blood essence's powerful energy and die. Yes, young master, little Yun replied obediently. Just like in the blood fog forest, the cold, gloomy realm was also little Yun's territory. Before little Yun woke up, Lin Feng's efficiency of killing cold, gloomy demons averaged 11 beads per hour, which was the standard of a normal core member. However, after little Yun woke up, he could kill at least 0 beads per hour and at most 30 beads per hour. In total, he killed 750 beads in 2 days, which was more than 50 beads per day. In Nemo dollars, he earned 150 billion. Chapter 613. Yin and Yang is one. The Yin terminating body was already comparable to the top human bloodline. With the pure Yang body of the sky-swallowing wolf, it was more than doubled. In addition, Xiao Yun had condensed the life essence elixir. Now that she had reached the essence condensation stage from the transformation stage, her absorption of heaven and earth energy had increased a lot. The swirl body was 3 times more powerful than the Yin terminating body when I absorbed all the talent spirit and earth spirit. Now it's the opposite. His cultivation speed had increased by more than 3 times. Especially in the third realm, the gloomy realm, it was twice the result with half the effort. Lin Feng didn't need to cultivate the talent spirit and earth spirit. He could easily improve them with just the swirl body and Xiao Yun. He only needed to control the balance like a scale so that the two could advance together. From the Chi Cloud stage to the fetus week, Lin Feng clearly knew that he was different from the humans on Nemo planet. The third meridian diagram was his obvious characteristic and advantage. Boom! Lin Feng killed another gloomy demon. With Xiao Yun's alert, he could sense the gloomy demon approaching from afar. Lin Feng was waiting for the prey while recovering and killing at the same time. Soon, he recovered completely, including his state of mind. Continue. Lin Feng was calm. It was a bleak, gloomy realm. The third realm was the place with the most people in the bloody evil world. After all, most of the 7 blood assassins were core members. Although many 8 blood assassins could enter the fourth realm, 9 out of 10 would choose the third realm if they wanted to make money. The gloomy Saint Pearl was expensive. Whoosh! Chi! 2 streaks of ice-cold light pierced through his throat and the middle of his chest. Boom! The gloomy demon turned into a gloomy Saint Pearl in an instant. There were 2 valiant figures. They were slightly shorter than half a head. It was a young girl with short hair. She held a 50-centimeter-long military knife in each of her hands. She was Jian Dandan, the 7 blood assassin who had a good chat with Lin Feng that day. Although the gloomy demon is fast, you only need to remember one thing. It will definitely attack continuously. It's easy to reveal flaws in continuous attacks, just like the demon race experts. The chilling devil's weakness is its throat and chest. These 2 places are the easiest to find and deal the most damage. Do you understand, Jingxian? Jian Dandan flipped the military knife in her hand, and a chilling Saint Pearl appeared in her hand. Thank you, Sister Dandan. The one who spoke was a young woman who was about the same age as Jian Dandan. She had a head of shiny black hair that was combed into bangs. With a ponytail and a sword in her hand, she nodded vigorously and looked around curiously with her big eyes. It seemed to be searching for something. Ding Jingxian, a 7 blood assassin from number 31 Blood Tower. Jian Dandan laughed. The Yin Cold Realm is very big. It's easier said than done for you to find Titan. I'm not looking for him. Ding Jingxian blushed. Jian Dandan's dimples appeared. Who in the entire Blood Fiend realm doesn't know that you like Titan? Do you dare to say that the dark and cold realm has nothing to do with him? Sister Dandan. Ding Jingxian pouted. Jian Dandan smiled and said, Anyway, I brought you here and my mission has been completed. Titan is actually not bad. It's almost certain that he and Blood Shadow will become 9 blood assassins. However, judging from the current situation, Blood Shadow should be better because a month ago, Blood Shadow already entered the fourth realm. Titan will definitely be more powerful than Blood Shadow. Ding Jingxian bit her lip. I believe it. Jian Dandan smiled. Among the 18 six-blooded assassins, Titan should be the most powerful. He's the only one with 9-blooded treatment. Moreover, there are only a total of 3 people who have entered the third realm. Apart from Titan, who can easily kill the frigid, gloomy demon, Titan should be the most powerful one. Although Titan can kill 6 blood assassins, the other 2 six-blood assassins are too weak. A smile appeared on Ding Jingshuan's face. She was inexplicably happy when she heard others praising Titan. Suddenly, Jian Dandan's eyes lit up, and she turned around. There's sounds of battle. It's not easy to meet other members in the Blood Fiend realm. Let's go and say hello. Jian Dandan sped away as she spoke. Could it be Brother Titan? Ding Jingshuan's eyes lit up. The 2 girls appeared instantly. They were both stunned. Who is it? Ding Jingxian looked curiously at the young man, holding a giant black saber in the distance. But she didn't know him. Lin Feng? Jian Dandan didn't expect to meet Lin Feng here. In her impression, Lin Feng was only a 6-blood assassin who was rank 8 in the Fetus Week. It was difficult for him to enter the first realm of the Blood Fiend realm, but now, Lin Feng was already in the third realm. Although he looked very embarrassed and was in danger because of the cold shadow demon, but he managed to block it. His profound meaning is not bad. His saber technique is also outstanding. His combat awareness is also outstanding. Only, Jian Dandan murmured, his body is too weak. It's only comparable to rank 4. In just a moment, Jian Dandan had already analyzed clearly. Those who could become the core members of the Blood Fiend realm were all elites among elites. No, his body is not weak. Jian Dandan immediately denied. It was extremely rare for a rank 8 martial artist to have a rank 4 body in the Fetus Week. What was weak was the power level. Should we help him, Sister Dan? Ding Jingxian asked. Let's wait and see. He didn't ask for help. Jian Dandan shook her head. There are rules in the Blood Fiend realm. We are not allowed to interfere in the battle of other members. Ding Jingxian nodded. Anyway, he won't die. Jian Dandan nodded. Actually, there's still a chance. If you follow what I told you and use the correct method to attack the cold shadow demon's vital parts. Before Jian Dandan finished her sentence, the situation suddenly changed. Bang! Metal clashed. Lin Feng and the cold shadow demon separated. Lin Feng's face was slightly pale. He felt helpless. With his current power, it was impossible to kill the cold shadow demon with techniques alone. When the difference in power was too great, techniques would become useless. He noticed the arrival of Jian Dandan and Ding Jingxian. He didn't want to delay any longer and let the 2 girls watch from the side. Titanium gray body, rank 6. Lin Feng directly attacked. The lines on the silver armor quickly shrunk and seeped into the skin. The crystallized lines caused the muscles on his body to explode. Jian Dandan and Ding Jingxian at the side opened their beautiful eyes wide. They were shocked. The cold shadow demon attacked again, but this time, boom! Heitung revealed his majesty. Lin Feng's aura reached its peak. The Qiyu demon race's image was extremely powerful, increasing his power. Heiteng's strength could split Mount Hua. With a crushing pressure, he faced the cold shadow demon who had no intelligence. Simple and direct. Bang! With a deafening sound, Lin Feng's attack exploded. Like shattering mountains and stars, the power was condensed to the extreme. The cold shadow demon's holy chi was unable to resist such a strong attack and directly shattered. The cold shadow Saint Pearl appeared. Jian Dandan and Ding Jingxian opened their mouths so wide that they could swallow an egg. Chapter 614. Dandan. Lin Feng put away the chilling Saint Pearl and greeted her with a smile. He was a bit surprised because Jian Dandan had gone back to the Blood-Hidden Valley to find her teacher when they parted. But Lin Feng immediately understood that he had been in the bloody evil world for 6 days and the chilling realm for 3 days. Dandan was different from him. She had the blood-killing token and could enter the third realm directly. Brother Lin, Jian Dandan greeted after recovering from the shock. It was the same two words, but the meaning was completely different. Before, it was just a friendly greeting. After all, she was still young, but now there was respect for the strong. Lin Feng's sudden burst of power shocked Jian Dandan from the bottom of her heart. He had easily killed the chilling demon and killed it head-on. He definitely had the combat power of an 8 blood. Beside her, Ding Jingxian shrunk her head and peeked at Lin Feng. I didn't expect that the first blood killer I met in the bloody evil world would be you, Lin Feng said with a smile. Maybe we're fated. Jian Dandan smiled, showing 2 dimples. She said casually as if she was joking, Brother Lin, have you been here for the past 6 days? Lin Feng shook his head. No, I've only been in the chilling realm for 3 days. Jian Dandan hummed softly and thought to herself, so, he really relied on his strength just now. It's not easy to stay here for 3 days. He would run out of titanium and holy qi. He needed to recover holy qi and be vigilant of the surroundings. He also needed to resist the penetration of the yin energy everywhere. An ordinary 7 blood killer might be able to stay here for 1 day, but 2 or 3 days. The longer he stayed, the more difficult it would be. After all, the chilling demon was also very strong. Brother Lin is really surprising. Jian Dandan smiled. It seems that you're the same as Tai Tan. You have the strength of a 7 blood killer, but haven't completed the promotion mission. Lin Feng smiled and didn't explain too much. Let me introduce you. My sister Ding Jingxian is also from Blood Tower 31. Jian Dandan looked at Ding Jingxian. She smiled. Jingxian, he's the Lin Feng I mentioned to you. Hello. Lin Feng smiled and reached out his hand. Hello. Ding Jingxian was a little shy and reached out to shake his hand. Lin Feng smiled and didn't mind. He looked at Jian Dandan. Oh, right. Dandan, is there a pattern to the entrance of the 4th realm? No. Jian Dandan answered directly. Every entrance is not fixed. Instead, it will change with time. There was once a person who was extremely lucky and saw the entrance to the 4th realm as soon as he entered the gloomy realm. However, it was useless. Strength is the most important. Lin Feng nodded lightly. If they weren't strong enough, they would only be sending themselves to their deaths. Shrugging, Lin Feng said, All right, then I'll continue to try my luck. Good luck, Jian Dandan said. Lin Feng waved at the 2 women and left like a gust of wind. Whoosh! Jian Dandan's eyes lit up as she murmured, Unbelievable. He only has 8 blood. Yes. Ding Jingxian nodded. Maybe his talent isn't very good. Otherwise, with his body condition and battle ability, he wouldn't just be an 8 blood treatment, right? Jian Dandan looked at Ding Jingxian and smiled. A 6 blood assassin seat. It's probably going to be rearranged. Ding Jingxian didn't understand. Looking in the direction Lin Feng left, Jian Dandan said, his strength might not be weaker than Titan's. Lin Feng, how strong was he? Actually, even he was a little confused. When he was in the cursed demon territory, his full power should be at the top of 7 blood and at the bottom of 8 blood. Now, he was almost at the level of an ordinary 8 blood. He couldn't test his true strength with the gloomy demon alone. After all, it was too simple and the gloomy demon didn't have consciousness. Therefore, Lin Feng dared to fight it without activating his titanium gray body. However, the effect wasn't obvious. My body is too weak. It's hard to use my saber techniques. Lin Feng ran quickly. He originally wanted to fight with his normal body to force out the true essence of saber techniques and train his combat skills. However, he later realized that in front of absolute power, techniques were insignificant. Let's do it normally. At least I can comprehend and train my saber techniques. I don't have to find an equal opponent in the 3rd realm. 4th realm, 5th realm. There will always be an opponent worthy of my full strength. Lin Feng wasn't in a hurry to focus on training his saber techniques. There was still more than a month before the Battle of Brilliance. If he didn't try to break through to the 1st week, there was more than enough time. For Lin Feng, it was completely possible to break through to the 1st week with all his strength in the next month or so. However, he had to put aside the improvement of his combat strength. There were trade-offs. 9 stage in the 1st week and 9 stage in the 1st week are not much different. Lin Feng was very clear. His strength and level were destined to be his weakness. Since that was the case, he might as well play to his strengths and play to his best. As for the improvement of his strength and level, it was more than enough to rely on the whirlpool body and little yin. In addition, there was still a full 3 months of 8 blood passages. He wanted to compete with Blood Shadow in his best condition with his strongest combat strength. Boom! Black Skeleton shook violently. Lin Feng's aura was huge. The perfect landslide and the still immature storm formed a sharp contrast. A breeze blew past, and a different kind of energy came. Lin Feng turned his head and looked in the direction of the energy. His eyes instantly lit up, and the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. Whoosh! Like an arrow piercing through the clouds, Lin Feng's figure instantly disappeared. As expected, Lin Feng appeared. A door was faintly discernible in front of him. The blood-red color blended into the fog and intertwined. Finally, I found you. Lin Feng directly entered. The blood-red fog was intertwined and turbid. Blood bubbles appeared on the ground one after another. It was like the border of hell. It was gloomy and terrifying. The tip of his nose was filled with the thick smell of blood. Stepping into the 4th realm gave Lin Feng the first feeling that he had arrived at the territory of the devil. No, it was hell. 4th realm, Blood Haze realm. Lin Feng looked around vigilantly. Unlike the first 3 realms, the Blood Haze realm didn't have the blood-red influence of the 1st realm, nor did it have the fog similar to the 2nd realm. However, it did. It's disgusting and bloody. The environment is worse than the 3rd realm. According to Dandan, although there are many more Blood Haze demons than Chilling demons, but the price of the Blood Haze Saint Pearl isn't high. One Hidden Fog Saint Pearl was 10 million Nemur dollars. One Blood Haze Saint Pearl was 10 million Nemur dollars. It was only equivalent to 5% of the Chilling Saint Pearl. In terms of making money, the environment was bad, and the requirement of strength was extremely high. The dense Blood Haze demons would also consume a lot of holy chi. The efficiency of making money was probably less than 1/3 of the Chilling Saint Pearl. But as a test of strength, it's not bad. Lin Feng clenched Black Skeleton. As he ran, his blood seemed to be burning. Holy chi mixed with blood mist flowed in the air. The Blood Haze demon was a real 8 blood. However, the first thing Lin Feng saw wasn't the Blood Haze demon, but swoosh. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. Chapter 615. It was a white figure. A young man with curly hair and an imposing appearance was fighting fiercely with a 2-meter-tall monster in a pure white battle armor that was flashing with a thick radiance. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The young man's footsteps were very strange. He moved around as if he was teleporting. He didn't have any weapons, only his shining fists. Boom, boom. Every attack was accompanied by the sound of thunder. Even the trajectory of his punches was full of lightning. It was very destructive. Behind him, the image of a giant appeared. It was wearing a towering armor, and light and lightning intertwined. Titan. Lin Feng was surprised. The 2-meter-tall monster didn't have any scales. Its body seemed to be made of mercury. It was soft and shapeless, but it was blood red. There were blood-red bubbles on its body. It was like a demon crawling out of a haze of blood. Blood Haze demon. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. The battle was fierce. The curly-haired young man's attacks were ferocious, and his movements were unpredictable. However, every time he punched the Blood Haze heavenly demon, even though he had already hit it, the Blood Haze heavenly demon's shattered body would gather together again, as if it had an undying body. It was a battle between a spear and a shield, the fusion of light and thunder. Lin Feng looked at the young man with curly hair. He had never seen him before, but the image of Titan behind him told him who he was. He was most likely the best of the 113 core members, as Dandan had said. Titan was a 9-blooded Titan. He's using the most primitive fist technique. Lin Feng was surprised. Looking at Titan's attack carefully, he condensed the fused light and thunder Titan Holy Chi into a fist and then exploded. It was simpler and easier than using a weapon. He could use the mystery easily. Every fist had its advantages. His holy chi of light and holy chi should both be first-class holy chi. When they fuse, they can unleash power far beyond super one holy chi. Well, they could be even stronger. Lin Feng observed carefully. His true, I-holy power could see through Titan's every attack. Although he was using the fused Titan holy chi, it wasn't a perfect fusion. For example, his footwork was more dominated by light. His attacks were more dominated by thunder. The key. It's about control. Lin Feng understood the mystery. The soul of Earth had not made a breakthrough and was still in Zizhou, which meant that the holy chi of light and holy chi of thunder still needed the soul of Earth as a medium. The key to the fusion was to cleverly make the two interdependent, like two ropes intertwined but not knotted. With one type of energy as the dominant one, there is no need to deliberately maintain the balance of power. It is simpler. A true fusion would be even more powerful. For example, a nirvana expert. The soul of the earth had transformed, gathering the holy chi of light and thunder to form the holy chi of Titan. But before I become a Yamo expert, it's a good idea. Lin Feng was enlightened. The key to fusing holy chi was the point of fusion. For example, when two strangers met, they needed something in common to become ordinary friends. Yin and yang, light and darkness, water and fire. These completely opposite holy chi energies were extremely difficult to fuse. It was because they could not find that point. The other was control. Using the point to control two completely different holy chi was not a problem for normal control, but to attack, from the moment the holy chi gushed out of the soul of Earth to the moment it exploded, it was not easy to control. It was even more difficult to use the mystery. Therefore, Titan chose to use one type of holy chi as the main energy. Control was relatively easy. In terms of control, I have a strong advantage. Lin Feng knew very well that his titanium-grade body's explosion relied on the holy power's control of the body and energy, controlling the fusion of holy chi and titanium-grade body. There were many similarities. Who was stronger? The answer soon appeared. Titan's face showed pain. His body trembled violently, and his handsome face was extremely distorted, with terrifying blood blisters. A faint layer of blood haze surrounded Titan's body, and the strong smell of blood was enough to make people faint. Pa! Pa! Titan's holy chi kept blasting the blood haze, but like clouds blown away, it quickly gathered back together. His skin began to rot, and his body changed little by little. Titan's eyes became dimmer and dimmer. Facing the blood haze demon's counterattack, he was powerless. Lin Feng watched from his side. He did not help because Dandan had already told him the rules of the bloody evil world. Unless he asked for help, he could not interrupt the battle. Titan was obviously a tough nut to crack. Even in a desperate situation, he still wanted to fight back and did not think of asking for help. Of course, the result did not change. A blood-red light flashed, and Lin Feng's eyes lit up. Titan's body slowly disappeared, and a piece of black jade that was originally shining with blood-red light cracked. The blood-killing token. The battle was over. Titan did not die. He did not die in the bloody evil world. He should be in the blood evil temple now. Lin Feng knew that the bloody evil world and the blood evil temple were connected. Titan would be sent out of the bloody evil world when he was heavily injured, and then appear on a black circular metal in the blood evil temple. The broken blood-killing token attracted the blood evil temple's energy to come, and at the same time, heal Titan's injuries. During this time, Titan could also cultivate in peace. The entire bloody evil world was like an independent cycle world. Oh! Lin Feng's heart jumped. In front of him, the blood haze demon that had just defeated Titan gathered its body again, and a thick blood haze rushed towards him. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. He did not take out the Heaven Saint weapon black centipede, but stood there quietly, waiting for the blood haze demon. Whoosh! Instantly, his vision was blocked by the thick blood light. The smell of blood rushed to his nose, and endless blood haze energy rushed in from all directions. Lin Feng shouted. Boom! The Thunder Dragon Holy Chi was activated. Although it was only at the 7th level of embryo week, it was better than the first stage of Thunder Holy Chi. The first stage of Thunder Dragon Holy Chi combined with his teacher's Thunder Dragon scripture to unleash its power. Patter, patter. The blood haze energy eroded, and his body became a battlefield. No wonder Titan couldn't resist it. After experimenting with it personally, Lin Feng finally understood the blood haze demon's attack method. Its defense was formless and exhausting, and it contained the mystery of true fog. There was only one way to attack, and that was to corrode with blood. As long as there was blood in the human body, the blood haze demon could invade. Although Titan had used up a lot of energy, he should have been able to resist, but the blood haze demon's attack was scattered all over his body. Like a guerrilla army, it attacked in all directions. The enemy's main force was busy running around, and they could not stop in time. In a short time, they had been defeated. 8 blood fighting power is indeed not bad. Lin Feng's eyes were bright, and blood blisters appeared on his skin. Its defense is also hard to break, but the blood haze demon, it has a fatal weakness. Chapter 616. Slap, slap. The blood haze energy dissipated, and the golden dragon in Lin Feng's body appeared. In terms of control over the body, the true dragon holy power was impeccable. Not to mention where the blood was, even in the depths of the sea of consciousness, the brain and the bones, the holy power was invisible and traceless. Wherever the holy power willed it, it would appear. Last week, the holy power had surpassed the first grade. Attacks are always accompanied by risks. In the sea of consciousness, the true dragon holy power opened his eyes. The blood haze demon's attack method was very unique and difficult to parry. However, once it was broken, the damage to the blood haze demon would be fatal. This was because the blood haze energy that invaded the blood haze demon's body was made up of the blood haze demon's real body. Like the blood haze, it can reform as soon as it is broken. An immortal body. Actually, it's just a trick. Lin Feng's skin returned to normal. The blood bubbles disappeared one by one, and the bulging veins calmed down. The blood haze around him became dimmer and dimmer, as if it wanted to leave but couldn't. As the blood haze in its body was cleared, the blood haze demon's aura withered. Bang! It completely disappeared, using the body as an attack. If it doesn't succeed, it will die. Lin Feng took the blood haze holy pearl. Boom! Lin Feng's saber was as heavy as Mount Tai. The blood haze demon was instantly hacked into pieces, turning into mist and dispersing. However, it instantly reformed as if it wasn't injured. A type of profound meaning of mist. Lin Feng saw through it. The blood haze demon's body blended into the surroundings. To be precise, it blended into the blood haze realm. Lin Feng looked at the ground. The blood bubbles spat out a disgusting red color. This place was like a world of hell. In fact, the blood haze demon's source of energy and derivation came from here. More than 99% of its energy was blended into the environment. The remaining 1% turned into its body, like clouds and mist. Therefore, attacking it would be futile. Even if the less than 1% energy was destroyed, there was more than 99% left. As for the clouds and mist reforming, it was actually the attraction of power. It was normal. If one couldn't see through the blood haze demon's mysteries, they would be defeated like the Titans. In the realm of blood haze, we won't be able to kill it with a frontal attack. Lin Feng couldn't think of a good solution either. The blood haze heavenly demon only had less than 1% of its energy gathered in its body each time. No matter how many he killed, it would not be enough because his holy chi would be exhausted first. However, it had a fatal weakness. You're too lacking in offensive methods. Lin Feng didn't resist at all. He waited for the blood haze heavenly demon to infiltrate his body. His eyes flashed as he activated his true dragon, Saint Energy. This is the best way to deal with the blood haze heavenly demon. Waiting for it to walk right into the trap. Blood Mist Palace, decision-making center. Around the black crystal table, the 5 palace masters once again sat in a circle. He has entered the 5th level. Lord Ba's eyes lit up. He entered the 5th realm after being a core member for less than 10 days. He has true strength. This little fellow is indeed not simple. I like it very much. Hong Ing giggled. Yunxing's cold face revealed a faint smile. I've told you that this kid is not a fish in a pond. Bone King's face was cold. Don't be happy too early. The bloody evil world is not the place to judge combat power. The 7 blood assassins can often enter the 4th level. He may be lucky to find the entrance to the 5th level quickly. Moreover, the Bloodhaze Heavenly Demon is too easy to control. Stubborn, Yunxing said coldly. Anyway, I don't agree to change the treatment. Bone King's voice was low. The Blood Tower has its own rules and an accurate evaluation process. The bloody evil world is not included. Yunxing said indifferently. You think too much, Bone King. I have never thought of changing Lin Feng's treatment as a blood assassin. Bone King was stunned. Yunxing said, how can a dragon live in shallow water? He will shine one day. You and I can wait and see. It's only a matter of time before he receives the 9 blood treatment. As I say, there is no doubt that Lin Feng will become a 9 blood assassin. In the future, he may be better than your disciple, Bone King. Bone King sneered and didn't speak. Isn't the treatment changed today? Black Bear scratched his head and said in a low voice. Oh, then today's decision is... Haning was also curious. Yunxing and Lord Ba looked at each other and said helplessly, you really don't know what's going on outside. After the snowstorm 3 days ago, Qian Rin from the number 30 Blood Tower also completed the promotion task and became a 7 blood assassin. She was originally a prospective core member. As a 7 blood assassin, her treatment should be officially decided and she should become a core member. Oh, Hong Ing nodded. Number 30 Blood Tower again. Black Bear muttered. The Blood Evil Temple. Swoosh, Lin Feng's figure appeared. His face was pale, and there was a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth. Lin Feng looked around and smiled bitterly. He couldn't see the size of the huge palace because of the blood fog, the strange metal structure, and the blood-colored cylinders. He naturally recognized everything here. It was indeed moved to the Blood Evil Temple, Lin Feng murmured. Above his head, the blood-killing token floated in the air. It was dim and shattered. The blood-killing token contained a strange energy that caused the black circular metal under his feet to light up. Suddenly, a bloody light flashed and extended upward, forming a cylinder-shaped illusory blood cage that went straight to the top of the palace. The blood fog shrouded the palace. It was indeed opened with the blood-killing token. Lin Feng took a light breath. The feeling of merging into the blood-colored cylinders was particularly clear. He had truly merged into the entire Blood Evil Temple and was separated from the outside world. The thick blood fog energy emerged. While repairing the blood-killing token, it was also absorbed by the cultivators inside to recover their bodies. No wonder they all like to run to the Blood Evil Temple. Lin Feng smiled weakly. The blood fog energy of the Blood Evil Temple was especially thick. It was enough to surpass the 3rd realm's gloomy cold realm. Cultivate. 7 days. Every time the Blood Evil Temple recovered, it took exactly 7 days. Swoosh. The blood mist disappeared. Lin Feng opened his eyes and let out a sigh of relief. With his physique, he would be able to recover from his injuries in less than a day. However, the restoration of the blood slaughter token would take a full 7 days. Standing up and holding the blood-killing token, Lin Feng stepped out of the Blood Evil Temple. His eyes swept around, and his senses became clearer. A rank 8 talent soul is indeed extraordinary. Lin Feng smiled and clenched his fists. Oh, my body has also become stronger. In these 7 days, not only had his talent soul reached rank 8, but his soul of the earth had also improved, reaching rank 9. At this time, there was still a month before the Battle of Glory Star. With the 7th layer of the titanium gray body, the strength of my body can reach the peak of rank 9. However, it is still far from enough. If I want to challenge stronger opponents in the Battle of Glory Star, I still need stronger combat strength and body. Let's start with the 8th layer of the titanium gray body and the secret of Imperial Void. Lin Feng's fighting spirit was strong. Chapter 617. A month was very short, but to Lin Feng, it was enough time to prepare. After returning from a blood fiend field, Lin Feng did not continue to train in the blood fiend field. With his current strength, reaching the 5th realm was his limit. Even the 4th realm blood haze demon was just a coincidence, so it was easy to kill it. But the 5th realm was a real competition of combat power. The 5th realm is the top 8 blood combat power. I can't pass it. Lin Feng remembered clearly how badly he lost in his first battle after entering the 5th realm. Even if his current strength level increased by another level, he still had no confidence in defeating his opponent. So, I'm actually a normal 8 blood combat power now. Lin Feng had an accurate assessment of his own strength. Returning to the 6th level of Blood Tower 30 in an independent room, although the heaven and earth energy here was not as good as the blood fiend field, it was quiet and would not be disturbed. If he did not deliberately cultivate, the heaven and earth energy was not much different. Especially, he had a large number of demon cores. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Faint golden light condensed to form patterns. The arrangement was far more dense and detailed than the 7th level. The titanium element energy was compact. It was as if a room originally filled with 30 humans was now filled with 50 humans. Most importantly, it was not randomly stuffed. The precise arrangement and magical engraving energy were like chains, condensing the titanium element energy and unleashing a powerful force. The change from silver to gold was a qualitative improvement. It was indeed so. At the 5th level of the titanium body, the body increased tenfold. At the 6th level, it increased 20-fold. And at the 7th level, it increased 30-fold. Every tenfold increase was a steady increase. But at the 8th level, it increased from 30-fold to 50-fold. It was not only the body's limit that increased. The control requirement was even harder than ascending to the heavens, especially without the help of advanced technology. Every cultivation required a large amount of titanium element, but the recovery speed was relatively slow. Pong! The golden light faded. Lin Feng's face turned pale. His chest rose and fell rapidly. Lin Feng carefully recalled the entire process. After a long time, he let out a sigh of relief. It's not just a matter of control. The body is also involved. The two complement each other. Like water and fish, if the pressure on the body is too great, it's hard to withstand it perfectly. No matter how strong the willpower is, it's useless. Titanium gray body mainly relies on the body. Control should only be a supplementary method. Lin Feng summed up his failures. Reaching the 8th tier of the titanium grade was not an easy task. Progress from failure, one step at a time. Fetus Week 9. With the support of the 7th tier of the titanium grade body, my current physique is comparable to the peak of Planet Nemo's Human Child Week. The Crimson Blood Pearl should have a great improvement. The last time he absorbed it, the soul of the earth was still at embryonic 5th stage. Bloodline density. Absorb the blood red bead, strengthening one's bloodline and transforming one's life form. It's easy. His body didn't feel full at all. The sleeping beast in the 3rd diagram felt as if it had been starved for a long time. Lin Feng quickly absorbed the Crimson Blood Pearl. His cells, bones, and skin were transforming bit by bit. After awakening from the whirlpool, the Crimson Blood bead absorbed another 733 beads. Now 800, 850, 900. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. He felt that his heart was transforming. It was completely new. The beast in his body seemed to be ready to break out of its cocoon. It was different from the whirlpool. The beast's strength was clearer and stronger. Lin Feng's heart was filled with desire. Bloodline power could be upgraded after a second awakening. It was just that ordinary bloodlines were easier to upgrade. The stronger the bloodline, the harder it was to upgrade. Of course, after upgrading, the power would be even more terrifying. Just like the whirlpool. 1,000. Lin Feng felt full again. The sleeping beast's response slowly decreased, even though he was eager to break through. But in the mysterious 3rd diagram, the sleeping beast was not under his control. After absorbing another dozen or so crimson blood beads. Lin Feng stopped. A total of 1,015 beads. Lin Feng remembered clearly. Every single blood-red pearl was a rare treasure that was highly coveted. 600 billion Nemo dollars for one, but there was no market for it. What he had absorbed, its value was hard to estimate. 405 beads left. I don't know if it's enough for the second awakening. Try again. Titanium grade body, 8th tier. Pa! Pa! Lin Feng's body emitted a golden light. His eyes were sharp. The increase in bloodline concentration led to a change in the level of life. This was a fundamental transformation. Cells, bones, skin, the foundation improved, causing the capacity to be greater and the toughness to be stronger. Last time, because of the large amount of crimson blood pearl absorption, his body was refined and could display the 7th tier of titanium grade body. But this time, whoosh, the golden light lasted for 8 seconds and suddenly dissipated. It was still a failure. But Lin Feng's face showed a smile. It's done. It's not a problem. My body can completely withstand it. Different failures, different results. Previously, it was because his body could barely withstand it. But this time, it was because he was not familiar with it. As long as he practiced more, it was only a matter of time before he could successfully display the 8th tier of titanium grade body. 3 ultimate techniques of Imperial Void Valley. 33 hands of Imperial Object, Void Nirvana Gate, Secret of Imperial Void. Lin Feng sat cross-legged and pondered. These 3 sets of secret manuals would definitely make the sacred power cultivators of the 33 continents yearn for them. The biggest gain from the trip to the Cursed Demon territory was these 3 sets of secret manuals. Among them, 33 Hands of Imperial Object was a control manual. It was similar to 10 Flying Dagger Scrolls, but it was more powerful and could control more. Controlling Objects was the branch with the most sacred power cultivators. Void Nirvana Gate was an illusion technique. It was also a first-class sacred power technique. Especially for Lin Feng, it was twice the result with half the effort. Because of the existence of the true I Sacred Power. To be able to break it, the true I Sacred Power could greatly increase the power of illusions. As for Secret of Imperial Void, it was needless to say. It was the treasure manual of the Imperial Void Valley. It used a secret technique to condense and increase sacred power to produce an instant explosive force up to 10 times. It was quite powerful, but Secret of Imperial Void needs to be used with sacred power attack techniques. I currently only have Phalo and Huan and Dragon Abyssal Pearl. Moreover, the difficulty of cultivating this kind of secret technique is quite high. It is very difficult to cultivate to the highest level of 10 times. Lin Feng understood. Even if the technique was strong, it had to be learned. Just as high potential did not mean that one was strong. His biggest problem now was there was not enough time. 33 Hands of Imperial Object and Void Nirvana Gate. These 2 are the fastest. Lin Feng looked at these 2 secret manuals, then looked at Secret of Imperial Void, and pondered for a long time. He had already roughly flipped through the 3 secret manuals and had a rough idea in his heart. Let's start with this one. Lin Feng made a decision. Chapter 618. Lin Feng picked up the 33 hands. The Void Nirvana Gate was indeed good, especially illusions. If he used the true I Holy Power, he would be able to achieve twice the result with half the effort. But compared to the 3 sides of the Holy Power, the true I Holy Power was still at the 3rd level. Even if the quality of the true I Holy Power was not inferior to the true Dragon Holy Power. But the 33 hands was different. The true Dragon Holy Power was more of an attack type, allowing him to achieve twice the result with half the effort. And Lin Feng was very familiar with the Holy Power controlling objects. And this. Lin Feng took out the 33 thin golden feathers. He was almost certain that these 33 golden feathers were prepared for the 33 hands. Once he learned it, the Holy Power attack would become a fatal trump card. Along with the Secret of Imperial Void, the 33 hands was one of the top 3 techniques of the Imperial Void Valley. It was definitely not weak. Opening the book, Lin Feng carefully read it. He had roughly flipped through it before. The 33 hands seemed to have a lot of techniques, but the key was that there were only 3 techniques. To put it simply, there were 3 techniques. Every 10 techniques is a technique. The first 10 techniques are the foundation, and the last technique is the real technique. The first technique, the arrow. The arrow. It was the simplest combination of 33 golden feathers, but its power was not weak. It flew in a straight line at an extremely fast speed. Once it hit, it would attack continuously, like an arrow piercing into one's heart. The most important thing was that the attack was concentrated. It was like a needle piercing the heart, and it was extremely effective in breaking defense. The weakness is also very obvious. It is easy to dodge. Even if the opponent can't completely dodge, a slight deviation would be enough to avoid a vital point. Lin Feng was very clear. For example, the arrow was aimed at the heart. If the enemy lowered their body, the target would change to the shoulder, and the damage would be much worse. The arrow was the easiest to learn of the 3 techniques. The 10 scrolls of throwing knives is the real technique. Unfortunately, the control requirements are too high. Lin Feng turned to the arrow. Comparing the advantages and disadvantages of the 2 techniques, the 33 hands was easy to understand and easy to learn. It controlled the 33 feathers as a whole. The control was undoubtedly much easier. It was not even as difficult as the 10 scrolls of flying daggers, but its power was far superior. Every advantage had its own disadvantages. The 33 hands of Imperial object manipulation was a set of routines, which meant that once the attack path was set, it could not be changed. Once the arrow was shot, even if he did not hit the enemy, it was impossible for him to change his direction halfway like 10 scrolls of flying daggers. The other 2 moves were the same. The second set, tiger form, like a hungry tiger pouncing on its prey. The 33 feathers attacked from all directions, airtight. The third set, dragon form, roaring like a dragon, forming the image of a dragon devouring its prey. Its power is extremely great. Lin Feng quickly finished reading. Every 10 techniques were designed for one of the routines. The explanation of advancing step by step was very detailed. Only when the 33 hands of object manipulation is combined with the secrets of void manipulation can its true power be unleashed. Lin Feng sighed softly. 33 hands of object manipulation did not have a lot of requirements for multitasking, but when it came to absolute control and the changes in the rhythm of time, it had to be very precise. He could not make any mistakes. To be able to become one of the 3 major holy power sects, the Yushu Valley, is indeed extraordinary. This 33 hands of object manipulation is suitable for every kind of holy power cultivator, even if they're not talented enough, as long as they practice hard. They can also master the 33 hands of object manipulation. And if they are talented enough, with the help of the holy power of the secrets of void manipulation, the power will be. It's hard to imagine. Let's start with the first set, arrow form. Even if they were not talented enough, they could still master the 33 hands of object manipulation. But for a talented holy power cultivator, it would be easier. The control of the 10 scrolls flying daggers was much harder than the 33 hands of object manipulation. With the help of the true pupil holy power and the foundation of the 10 scrolls flying daggers, Lin Feng only spent a few hours to master the first set, arrow form. The difficulty of the second set of gloves, Land Rover, was slightly higher. However, Lin Feng only spent a day to complete the cultivation of this technique. It's much easier than I expected. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. He casually waved his hand, and 33 golden feathers flew out, forming the head of a ferocious tiger in the void. It opened its bloody mouth and rushed over from all directions, gathering power. Boom! It went straight into the wall of the room. Ding! 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 The golden tiger head dissipated, and Lin Feng nodded with satisfaction. If the power of this move can be fully unleashed, it should be able to reach the 8 blood level. Lin Feng knew very well that if the tiger form was fully unleashed, A holy power cultivator with first-grade holy power will be able to unleash the combat power of a 6th-grade blood, and an ordinary 7th-grade one would be able to unleash the combat power of a 7th-grade blood. But his true dragon holy power was a transcendent grade of transcendent grade. Naturally, it was a level higher. The dragon form is the most powerful. Lin Feng was looking forward to it. As for the wall, it would not be damaged. Even a 9th-grade blood warrior would not be able to leave a mark on the wall. This was the Tower of the Blood Tower, the Mother-Child Blood Tower. Blood Tower number 30, 6th floor. It's empty. Warhawk sighed. Water flows downwards, and people walk upwards. It's been the same since ancient times. Galan smiled faintly. Blood Shadow and Qianren are all outstanding people. They have better development and future. We should be happy for them. Warhawk smiled bitterly. Compared to them, I feel really old. Galan shrugged. Comparisons are odious. Just be yourself. Warhawk looked at Galan. You're not jealous at all. I'm not a saint. Galan smiled. Blood Shadow is actually not that bad. After all, I didn't have much contact with him. But after this trip to the Cursed Zone with Lin Feng, I truly felt the difference between a genius and an ordinary person. I'm not afraid of others who are more talented than me. I'm only afraid of those who are more talented than me, but more hard-working than me. Warhawk nodded and felt the same. Offing is a monster. Galan sighed. So after careful consideration, I decided to give up going to the Nirvana world. After becoming a 7-blood assassin, I'll retire in the Blood Tower. It's not bad to be a guide. The Blood Tower has them. It doesn't matter whether I'm there or not. Warhawk smiled bitterly. Even I don't have confidence in you anymore. You're different from me. Galan shook his head. You're a born blood assassin. A quiet and comfortable life is not suitable for you. Warhawk was about to speak when he suddenly froze. Even Galan's eyes were wide open. The two of them looked at each other and revealed a shocked expression. Did you feel it? Warhawk swallowed. A slight vibration. Galan turned his head. It's Offing's room. The wall is shaking. Warhawk was stunned. 9th-grade blood warrior. Galan was stunned. To be continued. Chapter 619. Everyone knew that the room was made of special materials. It was connected to the Blood Tower. Although the Child Blood Tower was not as good as the Mother Blood Tower, its defense was still good. Any attack below 9 HP would not be able to shake the Blood Tower in the slightest. Attacks below 9 blood would cause the walls to tremble slightly. Normal attacks would cause the walls to tremble slightly. As for top 9 blood attacks, they would leave faint marks on the walls. Too scary, Goran muttered to himself. How strong is this little monster? Warhawk was tongue-tied. Goran smiled bitterly. It's definitely stronger than we thought. Warhawk touched his head and shook his head speechlessly. His attack power is 9 blood. My God, he's only rank 8. Goran said, Now, do you think my decision to retire was wise? Warhawk smiled bitterly. I also want to retire. I heard that Lin Feng is going to participate in the Battle of Brilliance in August. Goran asked. Yes, he did mention it. Warhawk said, but at that time, I thought he just wanted to see other geniuses like Goddess Wakaman from the Immortal Pavilion, Wu Daozi from the Enlightenment Valley, and treasure refining sects big and small treasures. Now, it seems there should still be a gap between him and those with 9 blood, right? Goran said, attacks reaching 9 blood did not mean that one's strength had reached 9 blood. Warhawk nodded, but Offing should have 8 blood. He may not have to participate in the Battle of Brilliance. He can choose to participate in the Battle of Hidden Star. With his strength, it will be easy for him to win. Goran smiled. You think he'll participate in the Battle of Hidden Star? The two looked at each other and laughed. Speaking of which, the Battle of Brilliance this time should be a 3-way battle, Warhawk said. The top 3 on the Battle of Brilliance list are Goddess Wakaman and Ronghua. Wu Daozi's strength is about the same. There will be a fierce battle. I don't think so, Goran said. Galan said, I feel that there is still a gap between Ronghua and Wu Daozi when compared to Fairy Ruomeng. Moreover, there are many rising stars on the Glorious Stars list. Let's not talk about the others. Just Shimanzi from Blood Pagoda number 2. He advanced to 9th blood later than Fire Melting, but his current strength is said to be comparable to Fire Melting. The Blood Mansion's crippled wolf rapidly rose from the 120th place on the Brilliant Stars leaderboard in just 1 year. His latest ranking is already the 8th place. The 5 great super forces have produced many talents. Other than the big and small treasures of the treasure refining sect, the Rising Sun Chamber of Commerce, the 8 Trigrams Palace, and the 10,000 Medicine Valley all have super newcomers that have been carefully nurtured. But what was truly frightening was, he's a disciple of some hidden expert sections. He's usually quiet, but once he does, he'll amaze the world. The Battle of Glorious Star every year is very exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Anticipation. Lin Feng was also looking forward to it. Fetus Week 9. The upgrade of his innate spirit had brought about the advancement of his Saint Energy attacks. However, the most important thing was the mastery of the secret of Imperial Void. Lin Feng had long since mastered the strongest dragon form of the 33 hands. Beyond grade 1, true Dragon Saint power could unleash the power of 8 bloodlines. However, the secret of controlling the void was to truly unleash the full potential of the dragon form. The first stage, twice the explosive power. This is the secret of the top 3 Saint Energy cultivator sects. Lin Feng sighed. The 33 hands was a simple and easy-to-understand secret manual. It was a peerless treasure that did not require too much talent to cultivate. It pulled up the lower limit of the Saint Energy cultivators of the Imperial Void Valley. However, the secret of controlling the void truly raised the upper limit of the Imperial Void Valley. Twice the explosive power. It was almost an explosive increase of twice the attack power. And this was only the first stage. However, comprehending it is indeed difficult. Lin Feng put away the 33 golden feathers. The cultivation of the first stage of the secret of controlling the void took a total of 5 days. It only took him 4 days to cultivate the entire 33 hands. If I cultivate the second stage, it will only increase the explosive power by 3 times, but the time it will take will probably double. Lin Feng was already very satisfied. He originally only planned to cultivate the 33 hands. Now, he had even cultivated the first stage of the secret of controlling the void. The attack power of having just reached 9th blood was far beyond his expectations. There's still 23 days. Lin Feng took out the supreme grade Heavenly Saint weapon, Black Centipede. Target, the 12th stage of the Saber Technique. July 15th. There was still half a month before the Battle of the Glorious Star. You're here? Lin Feng's Heavenly Saint weapon, Black Centipede, exuded a strong, dark, demonic aura. A dark light flashed in his eyes. Blowing Snow was slightly startled. Lin Feng's saber shook. His black eyes burned. Instantly, the saber aura exploded and headed straight for Blowing Snow. Without wasting any time, without any hesitation, a sharp blade light flashed across the air. Lin Feng and Cue Shui started to fight. Clang, 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 clang. Blowing Snow's strength had obviously improved greatly. She had achieved a perfect body and had used the funds wisely. Now, Blowing Snow was stronger than Qianming. In particular, her swordsmanship was superb. Together with the inferior grade Heavenly Saint weapon, she was invincible. Her realm was extremely high. Bang! A strong vibration. Lin Feng's face turned pale. He was injured by Blowing Snow and was forced to retreat. There was no titanium energy in his body. Lin Feng was fighting Blowing Snow with his normal strength. His eyes were shining with a dark light. He was extremely terrifying. Blowing Snow was not used to his powerful aura. Even though she had the upper hand, she still felt her heart trembling. It was like fighting with a demon. Ha ha ha. Lin Feng, who was pushed back, laughed. He became even more demonic. Facing Blowing Snow's attack, the image of Qiyu appeared behind Lin Feng. Blood stains could be seen on the corner of Lin Feng's mouth as the extreme grade Heavenly Saint weapon, Black Scorpion, appeared. Lin Feng shouted, "Be careful, Blowing Snow." New Broken Sea. The battle ended. Lin Feng and Blowing Snow sat on the ground. The saber moved just now. Blowing Snow was curious. "It's new. How do you feel?" Lin Feng smiled. Very strong. Shui Shue's face turned pale as she said this word honestly. Lin Feng apologized. I'm sorry. You got injured. Blowing Snow shook her head. It's just a flesh wound. All right. Why did I feel like you were acting weird? She stared at Lin Feng and asked, Did you do something? Lin Feng nodded. You can think of it as a kind of demonic state. Demonic state? Blowing Snow didn't understand why. Of course it's useful. Lin Feng smiled and suddenly asked, Is there any news? Blowing Snow nodded. He accepted a mission. It's a 6 health bounty mission. Okay. Lin Feng stood up. Thank you. Do you need my help? Blowing Snow asked. Lin Feng smiled. I need to finish this myself. Wait for me here. I'll be back soon. Okay. Blowing Snow nodded. To be continued. Chapter 620. Dragonization Continent. One of the larger continents among the 33 continents was the continent directly under Blood Tower No. 1. In the cold night, corpses littered the ground in a large mansion. Blood flowed like a river. Terrified and miserable cries could be heard from the courtyard. Only bleak and cold sounds could be heard. The slaughter was endless. Wind howled and shadows flashed. A masked, white-clothed man stood in the bloody light like a god of death. Whoosh! After the last flash of bloody light, a middle-aged man fell in a pool of blood with an unwilling look on his face. The experts of the Subjo continent were harvested like weeds. Clang! The sword light disappeared. The masked, white-clothed man sneered. A bloody mark appeared on his white soft armor. He was a 6-blood assassin of the Blood Tower. His strength was equivalent to that of an upper-level Subjo continent. He could do whatever he wanted in the 33 continents. Too weak. The white-clothed man left and took off his veil. With a pair of soft, murderous eyes and a handsome, cold face, it was Qiu Baibu, who had tried to kill Lin Feng several times. Qiu Baibu had been cultivating in seclusion ever since he was defeated by Blood Shadow. Now that he had come out, he had reached the peak of 6 blood and had just reached 7 blood. Blood Shadow, I will definitely make you regret this. Qiu Baibu was determined to seek revenge for the smallest grievance. His heart was filled with intense hatred. And Lin Feng, I won't be able to eat or sleep in peace if I don't kill him. 2 bastards of Hua people. Qiu Baibu sneered and set the mansion on fire. The raging fire lit up the entire sky, and there were all sorts of shouts and exclamations from all around. Qiu Baibu looked at his masterpiece with satisfaction. For the current him, completing a mere 6 HP mission couldn't be any easier. Qiu Baibu turned around and was about to leave. But the moment he turned around, Qiu Baibu froze. A familiar figure was coming from afar. It didn't seem fast, but it was able to shrink the distance. Qiu Baibu would never forget that face. He blurted out, Lin Feng. Lin Feng. Qiu Baibu was shocked. Long time no see. Lin Feng's voice was very calm. Looking at Qiu Baibu, memories appeared one after another. The first time they met, Qiu Baibu would have killed him if Qian Luo didn't come. A jackal was still a jackal. In the end, he still took the risk out of desperation. Fortunately, he was prepared and entered the blood mist forbidden land to avoid disaster. After that, he made a decision. What are you doing here? Qiu Baibu's eyes were a little flustered, but he forced himself to remain calm. How could someone as smart as you not have guessed it? Lin Feng said. Qiu Baibu's expression was a bit ugly. He looked around and said in a deep voice, Do you know that blood assassins are not allowed to kill each other? Violators will be executed immediately. So? Lin Feng was surprised. Qiu Baibu said coldly, You have 7 bloodlines at most. Even if you can defeat me, I am sure that I can spread the news that you are a murderer before you kill me. At that time, everyone will know that you can't escape the punishment of the law enforcers of the Xuelo cult. Qiu Baibu was not stupid. The fact that Lin Feng dared to come here proved one thing. He was very strong. Previously, Qiu Baibu was still a little uncertain about the deaths of Qiao Dao Yufeng and Meng Xiao, but now he was 90% sure. They were definitely killed by Lin Feng. Is that so? Lin Feng smiled. However, this smile was even more demonic. Lin Feng said indifferently, First of all, you are mistaken about one thing. Blood assassins are indeed not allowed to kill each other. But if a core member kills a blood assassin, he will only be imprisoned at most. Xiao Baibu's eyes widened. Also, Lin Feng sneered, I don't have 7 bloodlines either. In an instant, Lin Feng's eyes were incomparably bright, and his murderous aura surged like a dragon. Xiao Baibu's face was cold. His whole body trembled, and he roared to show his determined madness. Suddenly, a golden light flashed in his hand, and a golden tiger pounced straight at Lin Feng. Xiao Baibu staked everything on this one throw. His holy light aura exploded as he fled. He was already scared out of his wits, and he didn't even have the courage to fight. However, whether he fought or fled, the result would not change at all. Back then, he could take whatever he wanted in front of Lin Feng, but now, he was like a mouse under a cat's paw in front of Lin Feng. Other than toying with him, there was nothing else he could do. A terrifying aura instantly descended, and it was much faster than Xiao Baibu's escape speed. 33 rays of golden light gathered from all directions and condensed into a golden tiger head in the air, opening its bloody mouth. No! Xiao Baibu's face was filled with shock, and he screamed, his pale eyes filled with fear. 33 hands of manipulation, tiger form, using the true dragon holy power to unleash the power of a beginner 8 bloodline, supported by the first level of the secret of void manipulation. Normal combat power of 8 HP. Chi. The golden tiger mouth directly swallowed Xiao Baibu, and the 33 golden feathers bloomed with golden light. In midair, Xiao Baibu's body was directly torn to pieces like a ferocious tiger. In front of Lin Feng, the indestructible lightning pearl armor flashed with lightning. The whirlpool body amplified the profound meaning of darkness, Li, and hundreds of Li whirlpools swallowed. Xiao Baibu's attack was not worth mentioning to Lin Feng. You're the first. Lin Feng's figure flashed, and the 33 golden feathers were taken into his bag. Under the cover of the fire, Lin Feng instantly disappeared. Favors must be repaid. Grudges must be avenged. This was Lin Feng's belief. His big brother Lin Zhan had taught him since he was young. A man should be decisive and do what he should do. Excessive kindness was a stumbling block on the path of cultivation. To protect one's family, to protect one's own destiny, one didn't rely on compassion or the kindness of others, but on oneself, on one's fists. Thunderbolt Palace. Shun Qian, Luo Yunling, Wang, Lin Feng returned to the Bloodfog land. Xiao Baibu's death wouldn't attract too much attention, including the 7 blood assassins Meng Xiao and Qian Dao Yufeng. No one would investigate. As a blood assassin, he had to be prepared to kill or be killed. He couldn't blame anyone if he wasn't strong enough. Some things had already become rules in the Blood Tower. Xiao Baibu's death could only be blamed on his own greed. Moreover, even if Lin Feng was found out, it wouldn't be a big deal. The treatment of the core members was much worse than that of the ordinary blood assassins. For the Blood Tower, the core members were the real elites. They used all methods and effort to cultivate their disciples. As for the ordinary blood assassins, they were just a group of mercenaries. Blood Tower number 30. Clang, clang. Lin Feng and Snow Blowing fought fiercely. There was still half a month before the Battle of Glory Star. Lin Feng's blade technique had already reached the peak of the 11th realm. He had a promise with Snow Blowing that day, which was 3 days. Breaking through to the 12th realm was a crucial hurdle for Lin Feng. After crossing this hurdle, he would be able to face the top geniuses in the Battle of Glory Star. His disadvantage would be greatly reduced. Come! Lin Feng's eyes lit up, and his battle intent surged. Wherever the blade went, it was extremely domineering. To be continued. Chapter 621. Celestial Pavilion. It was like a celestial realm sitting on the clouds. At the peak of a snow-covered mountain stood a woman in a white dress. She was pure and untainted. Just by standing there, she made people respect her. It was hard to have any blasphemous thoughts. Her beauty was beyond the beauty of the world. This was a temperament that came from her heart. Suddenly, with the sword as the heart, with the heart as the sword, The heart of the sword, with the heart as the sword. Master once said that the true way to leave the world is to enter the world. When the heart fuses with the heart of the sword is formed. The woman in white moved her slender fingers, and the sword was formed. Snowflakes flew and instantly turned into nothingness. A white sword word appeared in the air. It was like a proud plum blossom in the snow, standing alone. The woman in white's expression did not change at all. Her beautiful figure floated and then disappeared. Senior sister Ruomung, a clear voice sounded. A beautiful girl ran over from afar. She was wearing the white dress of Celestial Pavilion. She looked excited and cheerful, like a beautiful fairy who had descended from the heavens. There was a clear blue moon mark on her forehead. It was Lan Xinyan. Xinyan, why are you here? Goddess Wakaman smiled gently. Sect Master asked me to look for you, Senior Sister, Lan Xinyan said. Goddess Wakaman nodded slightly. Senior Sister. On the way, Lan Xinyan bit her cherry lips and said, No. Goddess Wakaman refused. Lan Xinyan said softly, Senior Sister, I haven't said anything. Goddess Wakaman said, Xinyan, you are still weak. According to Celestial Pavilion's rules, you are not allowed to leave the mountain. Even I can't make an exception. Oh. Lan Xinyan lowered her head like a child who had been wronged. Goddess Wakaman glanced at Lan Xinyan. Her beautiful eyes twinkled. Cultivate well, Xinyan. Your potential is not very good, but you can make up for it with hard work. If you have a goal, your chances of success will be higher. Don't worry. If I meet him, I will pass on your message. Okay. Thank you, Senior Sister. Lan Xinyan nodded vigorously. Immortal you palace. Master. Goddess Wakaman bowed. She was Ning Sushin, the sect master of the Celestial Pavilion. People called her Fairy Ning. She was a famous figure in the 33 continents and was not inferior to Ao Jianwei. Ning Sushin was surprised. Ruomeng, I didn't disappoint, Master. Your disciple has already condensed the sword heart. Goddess Wakaman's voice lingered in the air. Good, very good. Ning Sushin was overjoyed. She rarely lost her composure. Ruomeng, you are indeed a rare genius in the Celestial Pavilion. You have condensed the sword heart at the age of 18. Becoming a Nirvana expert is enough to make the geniuses of the Nirvana world feel ashamed. Having you as my disciple is already worth it. Master, you flatter me. Ruomeng is still lacking a lot, Goddess Wakaman said softly. Ning Sushin smiled in satisfaction. Initially, I was still a little worried. However, it seems like I was worrying for nothing. Ruomeng, with your current strength, you should be able to kill a low-tier, great heavenly demon, right? I'm 80% confident. Goddess Wakaman nodded. Go. Let the other sects in the 33 continents see how strong the rare genius of the Celestial Pavilion is. Ning Sushin smiled. Become the champion of the Battle of Glory and obtain the right to enter the path of glory. Ruomeng, you will become the legend and glory of the Celestial Pavilion. Your disciple will not disappoint you, Master. Goddess Wakaman bowed her head. Nirvana God Sect. Sure, Tion. On the sect master's seat, Ao Jinwei's deep eyes shone brightly. Master, a sinister voice sounded. It was a young man with dashing eyebrows. His slender eyes were sharp and deep. His gaze was unforgettable. Similar to Ao Jianwei, he also had 10 sword sheaths hanging on his waist. His sword intent was overflowing. You are a smart person. The student has surpassed the master, Ao Jianwei said. Master, you flatter me. Sure, Tion smiled evilly. You are different from my good-for-nothing son. Not only are you talented, but you are also ruthless. I think highly of you. Ao Jianwei said solemnly. If you can become the champion of the Battle of Glory, I will announce to the world that you are my son. In the future, you will enter the Nirvana world and inherit my Ao family's legacy. Thank you, Master. Sure, Tion's eyes shone brightly. In the 33 continents, in a valley of mysteries. Go down the mountain. You have already understood the essence of my 1,000 Illusion Valley. You will be invincible for the next week. A white-haired old man said happily. In the illusion world ahead, a white light flashed. A graceful young man stood there with his hands behind his back. He looked confident, and his eyes shone like the most beautiful jewels in the world. The graceful young man nodded. "Let's go. Old man, wait for me to bring the Battle of Glory's trophy for you." Black lines appeared in the white-haired old man's forehead. "There is no trophy for the Battle of Glory. You can't even afford the trophy." The graceful young man was stunned. He waved his hand and said, "Whatever. Wait for me to bring the trophy back." The white-haired old man smiled bitterly. All right. Shaking his head helplessly, the white-haired old man looked at the graceful young man's back and felt gratified. Who would have thought that after hundreds of years of silence, my Thousand Illusion Valley finally has a true successor? Blood Tower number 30. Boom! Pong! A man and a woman's figures intertwined. They fought for 2 days and 2 nights without rest. One practiced the sword and the other practiced the saber. It was as if they were possessed. At this time, Lin Feng's eyes shone brightly. The feeling of the saber became clearer and clearer. The 4th style of the 7 limits, hail, was displayed. Every time he swung the saber, there would be a loud explosion. Even without the titanium grade body, Lin Feng's saber power was already terrifying. And on the other side, Snow Chue's beautiful eyes flickered. She entered a state of enlightenment. The sharpness of the sword did not seem like a sparring session. Every move was fierce and powerful. But it was precisely this that forced out each other's potential and allowed them to comprehend more. One saber and one sword, they fought endlessly. Until, boom, the light shook. Lin Feng and Snow Chue were separated. Both of them had suffered heavy injuries, but their eyes shone brightly. Lin Feng held the black stallion in his hand. The 1st style of the 7 limits repeatedly appeared in his mind. Snow Chue's swordsmanship merged with each other. The saber and sword styles slowly overlapped, forming his own clear understanding. Clang! The saber vibrated violently, declaring its power and dominance. Lin Feng's lips curled up into a slight smile. Finally, he understood. "Thank you." Lin Feng looked at Snow Chue. "I should be the one saying thank you." Snow Chue revealed a rare smile. Lin Feng's eyes shone. "Your breakthrough gave me a lot of inspiration. It made me understand what I should do next." He was not the only one who had a breakthrough. Snow Chue's swordsmanship had also transformed from the peak of the 12th level to the sword heart. Snow Chue smiled and did not say anything. She turned around and left. Snow Chue suddenly said, "I will also go to the Battle of Glory Star." "Really?" Lin Feng smiled. "I hope we can have an official battle and test your sword heart." "See you then," Snow Chue said. Lin Feng nodded. Looking at Snow Chue's back, his heart was filled with anticipation. Battle of Glory Star. Chapter 622. Half a month passed in the blink of an eye. The Battle of Glorious Stars attracted the attention of the entire 33 continents, not only because all the geniuses under the age of 30 were gathered, but also because it was organized by the most powerful human alliance in the Nirvana world, the Glory Alliance. If one could win the Battle of Glorious Stars, he or she would be qualified to enter the path of glory. Even Nirvana realm cultivators were eager to enter the path of glory. So, the Battle of Glorious Stars is different from the Battle of Hidden Stars. Lin Feng was surprised. Yes, Chueshua said, the Battle of Hidden Stars is organized by the Starry Hall. In the Nirvana world, the 2 most powerful human forces are the Glory Alliance and the Starry Hall. They have existed in the Nirvana world for countless years. In comparison, the Immortal Pavilion, the Treasure Refining Sect, and the Blood Tower all entered from the 33 continents and slowly gained a small piece of land in the Nirvana world. Lin Feng nodded. Are the 2 forces competing fiercely? Chueshua nodded. There are definitely some conflicts, but the Glory Alliance and the Starry Hall are more united against the demons and monsters in the Nirvana world. That's true. Lin Feng smiled. Huaxiao also had a history. The 2 armies had different ideologies, but they had the same root. They worked together to expel the enemies and restore Huaxiao's peace. The situation in the Nirvana world seemed to be the same. The demons and monsters were like thorns. Even if they wanted to fight among themselves, they were powerless. Actually, you can participate in the Battle of Hidden Stars, Chueshua said. I know. Lin Feng nodded. The requirement for the Battle of Hidden Stars was to be under the Child Week. His Talent Soul and Earth Soul were both at the 9th level of the Child Week. Not only did they meet the requirements, but they also had a great advantage. The Starry Hall doesn't have the Path of Glory, but you'll be accepted into the Starry Hall as the champion of the Battle of Hidden Stars. You'll receive the best training. Even if you only get the 2nd or 3rd place, you can still become a pillar of the Starry Hall, Chueshua said. It was better to be the head of a chicken than the tail of a phoenix. Lin Feng understood what Chueshua meant. After all, the Starry Hall was not much weaker than the Glory Alliance. It had a long history. The Blood Tower, the Treasure Refining Sect, and the Immortal Pavilion all had lofty positions in the 33 continents. But in the Nirvana world, they couldn't even compare to one of these two giants. With his strength, participating in the Hidden Star Battle was practically a walk in the park. The championship was in the bag. But I still want to participate in the Battle of Glory Star. Lin Feng nodded, not only because he had an agreement with Blood Shadow, but also because he wanted to test his current strength and see how far he was from the top geniuses of Nirvana world. He recalled Goddess Wakaman's tyrannical strength. Lin Feng felt his blood boil as his desire to challenge grew stronger. Including the 3-9 blood assassins from the Blood Tower, Wu Daozi, Crippled Wolf, by Jing Xiao, and the top 10, and even the top 20 experts on the Glorious Stars list, they all wanted to fight it out. Even if he lost, he would have no regrets. Chueshua smiled. She seemed to be saying she had already guessed the answer. Whoosh, whoosh. 2 figures appeared in the center of the Saint Crystal inscription array. He came out of the Saint Crystal. Lin Feng couldn't help but smile as he looked around with nostalgia. This was the Saint Crystal inscription array of the Eastcom continent. Back then, he had entered the land of blood mist. Now that he was revisiting this place, he felt different. Chueshua glanced at Lin Feng. The Glory Realm is located in the center of the Eastcom continent and the Desolate Continent. It will take us about 6 hours to leave from here. Lin Feng nodded. Is this your first time back? Chueshua asked. Lin Feng nodded. Yes. Chueshua paused for a moment. Why don't we go out directly from the Wan Qian pawn shop? Huh? Lin Feng was surprised. Chueshua looked at Lin Feng. With your current strength, you can go anywhere in the city. It was enough for him to do as he pleased in East Spirit City. He would return the favor the Eastcom army had pursued him back then. Kill your way out of the city gate and make the Eastcom army tremble in fear. Let's see who else dares to hunt you down. Lin Feng couldn't help but laugh. I think I was the one who was hunted back then. Lin Feng smiled. Why is your killing intent stronger than mine? Because we are friends, Chueshua said. Friends. Lin Feng looked at Chueshua. It really wasn't easy for someone like her, who only had one sword in her heart and was indifferent by nature, to say those 2 words. Thank you. Lin Feng's heart warmed. Let's go. It'll be faster with 2 people. Chueshua's face was as cold as ice. No need. Lin Feng smiled. Huh. They left the city through the secret passage. Lin Feng didn't doubt Chueshua's words. Even if he was alone, he could easily kill his way out of East Spirit City. However, there was no need for that. He had indeed violated the rules by killing A.O. Lin in East Spirit City. Because of this revenge, the Eastcom army was a little implicated. The real murderer was the one who betrayed him, and the sect master of the Nirvana sect, A.O. Jianhui, who was still hunting him down. You don't seem like a benevolent person, Chueshua said. But I'm not an unforgivable person, Lin Feng said. Actually, I don't like killing, but this is the fastest way to solve the problem. Chueshua's voice was cold. I understand. Lin Feng nodded. They looked at each other and smiled. Everything was understood without words. Glory Realm. It was located at the center of the 33 continents and the Nirvana world. Half of it was in the 33 continents, and the other half was in the Nirvana world. It was a magical place. Crack. Stepping into the Glory Realm was like entering a new world. Lin Feng sighed softly. Sure enough, it's similar to the Blood Fiend Realm. Chueshua nodded. I heard them say the Glory Realm is very special. They were referring to the core members of the Blood Fiend realm. Lin Feng knew that Chui Xue had entered the Blood Fiend realm after him. Compared to his secluded cultivation, Chui Xue had spent most of her time in the Blood Fiend realm. She had learned a lot of information, including that she had reached the 5th realm in the Blood Fiend realm. What abundant heaven and earth energy! Lin Feng sighed. Unlike the Blood Fiend realm, the Glory realm was filled with pure heaven and earth energy. Because half of this place is the Nirvana realm, Chui Xue said. The closer you are to the Nirvana realm, the purer the heaven and earth energy is. The Nirvana realm's heaven and earth energy was 10 times more than the 33 continents. Of course, this referred to the heaven and earth energy in normal areas. Places like the Blood Fiend realm, Immortal Pavilion, and Nirvana Sect had many times more heaven and earth energy than the 33 continents. There are quite a lot of people here. Lin Feng looked around. There were at least tens of thousands of people from different continents. In order to watch the Battle of Glory Realm, many people traveled long distances. Chui Xue said, "It's more convenient for us. Many of the geniuses who want to participate in the competition need 10 days to half a month to travel. It's not easy." Yeah. A sigh came from behind. Not only was Chui Xue startled, but even Lin Feng's eyes widened. He didn't feel the other party's aura. To be continued. Chapter 6:23. Turning around, Lin Feng saw a young man around 16 years old. He was about 1.6 meters tall, and his body was very thin. The shoes on his feet were tattered, revealing 2 big black toes. He was dressed in rough hemp clothes, as if he had just walked out from the depths of the forest. His body was covered in mud, but could not hide his youthful temperament. His slightly dirty face should be handsome, but the most eye-catching thing was his pair of eyes. They were like the stars in moonlight, bright beyond compare. They were like the most beautiful jewels in the world, shining like pearls. What a powerful talent spirit! Lin Feng was shocked. His talent spirit was already at the 9th level of Embryo Week, and he had the 7th level of First Week True Dragon Saint Power. Even if he met a 9th level Saint Power cultivator, he would have the upper hand. But it was not as simple as being at a disadvantage. They were 2 completely different realms. On the other hand, Chui Xue was not too shocked. It was like a normal person meeting a martial arts grandmaster and a warrior meeting a martial arts grandmaster. They did not know the difference. "Young man, are you also here to participate in the Battle of Glory?" Lin Feng did not underestimate the young man because of his age. He was definitely the most powerful Saint Power cultivator he had ever met. Even, he was stronger than Blood Shadow. "Yes, it is my old man's wish." The young man shrugged. What he yearned for the most in his life is to be the champion of the Battle of Glory. There's no other way. Who asked him to pick me up? No matter how unwilling I am, I can only help him fulfill this wish, lest he dies with regrets. Lin Feng was slightly stunned. Chui Xue smiled. The surrounding warriors heard the young man's words and sneered, but they did not say anything. After all, who would take a 16-year-old's words seriously? A newborn calf was not afraid of a tiger. The young man had a fearless spirit. He had high aspirations. But among the crowd, only Lin Feng did not laugh, because he did not think the young man was joking. Or rather, he was bragging. Lin Feng reached out his hand. "Yi Xia." The young man shook hands with Chui Xue. "I was picked up by my old man in the river at the beginning of summer." The river? Blowing Snow was surprised. Yi Xia nodded. "The old man said that I slept on a big garden leaf, so he named me Yi Xia. I don't know if it's true or not." Lin Feng looked at Yi Xia. "You two should have a good relationship." It could be seen from the young man's casual words and unpretentious expression. His relationship with the old man was quite good. Usually, the more intimate a person was, the more special the way they addressed him. What's so good about it? Yi Xia pursed his lips. Being tortured by him every day, that old man had a lot of tricks up his sleeve. Today he plays this, tomorrow he plays that. If you have a weak heart, you'll probably die from being played by him. He was lacking in the 5 elements and didn't have enough nourishment. Every day, he would think of ways to torture me. "Sigh, Brother Lin, you don't know what kind of life I've been living." Lin Feng smiled. Naturally, he wouldn't take Yi Xia's words seriously, because when he said these things, there wasn't the slightest bit of deep hatred in his expression. "It's fate that brought us together. Let's sign up together," Lin Feng said. "All right." Yi Xia's eyes lit up, and he laughed. "I've been walking alone for half a month, and I'm bored to death." "Half a month?" Lin Feng and blowing snow looked at each other. Fortunately, the Blood Tower had the Saint Crystal engraving array. Otherwise, it would take a lot of time just to travel. There was a sea of people. Soon, they saw two clearly separated roads, with a clear sign above. "The left side is for the spectators." Lin Feng said, "We'll go to the right." Yi Xia and blowing snow nodded, and the three of them immediately went to the right side. In fact, it was clear at a glance. On the left side, almost all of them were over 30 years old and had a high status from various sections. On the right side, there were a group of young people under 30 years old, especially those between 20 and 30 years old. "Each road seems to be an independent space," Lin Feng whispered. At this time, the left road could no longer be seen. Thousands of warriors seemed to have suddenly disappeared. "The glory world is very special," blowing snow said. "It should be fun." Yi Xia had a young temperament and looked around curiously. In front, Lin Feng pointed ahead. What he saw was very clear. There was a row of expressionless soldiers standing in front of him. They wore armor that resembled a military uniform. It was blue with black edges, and their combat boots were blood red. Every soldier's armor was imprinted with a special symbol. It was clearly standard armor. It was like the uniform equipment of the Eastcom army. However, these were only appearances. What was truly terrifying was every soldier. They were all Nemean experts. Glory Alliance. This thought surfaced in Lin Feng's mind. Apart from the major factions in the Nirvana world, he couldn't think of any other faction that had the power to make Nemean experts stand guard like guards. But they came from the Nirvana world. It was impossible to penetrate the ancient seal. Could it be because of the glory world? If that's the case, wouldn't the Nirvana world be connected to the 33 continents? One can enter and exit at any time. A question mark appeared in Lin Feng's mind. He suddenly recalled what blowing snow had said and couldn't help but heave a sigh of relief. The glory world is indeed very special. Just like the Blood Fog continent, there were too many things he didn't know. They seemed to be collecting something. Yi Xia tiptoed and looked into the distance. "It should be a registration," said blowing snow. Lin Feng nodded softly. The three of them lined up behind the line and waited patiently. Soon, 6th rank Z. A soldier with electric eyes glanced over as if he could see through everything. Another Glory Alliance soldier beside him quickly recorded it and looked up. "Name H. Blowing 0. Blowing snow said truthfully. The soldier from the Glory Alliance nodded and took out a shiny ring with the number 799 on it. He handed to Blowing and said, "You can go in now. 10 people in a group. Go and wait in the front." Blowing took the ring and looked at Lin Feng. "Go ahead. We'll be there soon." Lin Feng nodded. Blowing snow nodded and put away the 799 ring. She passed through the area guarded by the Glory Alliance soldiers and entered. Next was Lin Feng. 9th rank of Fetus Week. The soldier with electric eyes frowned. 9th rank of Fetus Week as well. As soon as these words came out, it immediately caused an uproar. The long line of martial artists looked over in shock. They were martial artists who cultivated both Saint Chi and Saint Chi. It was rare in the 33 continents, not to mention the fact that they cultivated both at the same time. They were all extraordinary. Most importantly, Lin Feng looked very young. Which sect is he from? I don't know. His sect is definitely not simple. He should be from one of the 5 superpowers. It will be troublesome if we meet him in the Hidden Star battle. Everyone was discussing, especially those warriors who were going to participate in the Hidden Star battle. They all looked at Lin Feng with a serious expression. A 9th rank warrior who cultivated both holy power and holy power would be terrifying in the Hidden Star battle. Chapter 6:24. Name Age, the Glory Alliance soldier asked. Lin Feng, 20. Lin Feng said, causing another uproar. The Glory Alliance soldier nodded. After all, he was born in the Nirvana world and had seen all kinds of geniuses, so he wasn't too surprised. After recording a little, he handed over a round ring with the number 720. You can go in now. The first test is exempt. Lin Feng took it and was slightly startled. What did the first test mean? Looking at the round ring and number in his hand, Lin Feng was puzzled. Shouldn't my number be 800? The number was assigned one by one. The warrior in front of Blowing Snow got 798, and Blowing Snow got 799. There was no reason for him to get 720. The Glory Alliance soldier raised his head and said, "They are participating in the Battle of Glorious Star. You are participating in the Battle of Hidden Star. Naturally, it is different." As expected, Lin Feng shook his head. "No, I want to sign up for the Battle of Glorious Star." Swish! Suddenly, there was silence. "You want to participate in the Battle of Glorious Star?" The Glory Alliance soldier frowned. "Yes." Lin Feng nodded. The Glory Alliance soldier carefully looked at Lin Feng. "Do you know the rules?" The Battle of Glorious Star is a battle of the strongest in the first week, while the Battle of Hidden Star is a battle of the strongest in the first week. In the eyes of the Glory Alliance soldier, Lin Feng might not know the rules, which was why he made such a mistake. After all, the 9th stage of the first week was very strong in the Battle of Hidden Star, but in the Battle of Glorious Star, it was completely at the end. An ordinary first week was stronger than him. "I know." Lin Feng didn't explain too much. The soldier of the Glory Alliance sneered and shook his head. He didn't say anything. He then took back the ring and handed over a ring with the number 800 printed on it. "Go in. For the first test, you will be in groups of 10. Go ahead and wait." "Thank you." Lin Feng took it and walked forward. Is his head stuck in the door? Stupid beyond cure. Participating in the Battle of Glorious Star at the 9th stage of the first week is asking for trouble. There are all kinds of people in the forest, ridicule, disdain. There were even some who were rejoicing in his misfortune and sighing in relief. After all, it was common knowledge that a 9th stage cultivator in the womb who was participating in the Hidden Star battle would be a formidable opponent. It couldn't be any better to have one less formidable opponent. As for those martial artists who participated in the Battle of Glorious Star, they did not put Lin Feng in their eyes at all. There is a huge difference between the week of pregnancy and the week of pregnancy. Ignorant, Yixia shrugged his shoulders and walked over as if muttering to himself. The electric eye soldier who was in charge of the inspection glanced over, and his expression instantly changed. Yixia's bright and penetrating eyes looked over. For pairs of eyes met. In a split second, the electrifying soldier's mouth opened wide. He was dumbstruck and petrified. The Glory Alliance soldier in charge of recording waited for a long time, but didn't hear anything. He turned around and asked, "Nine, what's wrong?" The electric eye soldier's face was as red as a pig's liver. He had completely lost his composure. After hesitating for a long time, he still did not report his strength. "I'll do it myself." Yixia, 16 years old. As for his strength level, you can write it however you like. Yixia stretched out his right hand and revealed his pearly white teeth. "I'm sorry, but don't give me the ring for the Hidden Star battle. I'm also participating in the Glorious Star battle." A mirror that was flickering with white light. Lin Feng stood in front of the mirror. He gently rubbed the ring on his hand. It was sparkling and translucent. It was different from an ordinary storage ring. There was a round jade inlaid on top of the ring. The number 800 was printed on the round jade. The texture was special and familiar. Blood-killing token. Lin Feng suddenly remembered. Although the color was different, the texture was very similar. Lin Feng looked around. Other than himself, there was only one Glory Alliance soldier in front of him, standing there indifferently. Xue, who had entered before him, was nowhere to be seen. It was as if he had already entered this mysterious mirror world. However, he was blocked outside. In the preliminary test, 10 people were in a group. "Brother Lin," Yixia's carefree voice came from behind. Lin Feng smiled calmly. Yixia's coarse hemp clothes that were covered with mud was very eye-catching. The most peculiar thing was his pair of tattered straw shoes that couldn't be any more broken. His two big black toes were completely exposed. Lin Feng had suggested that he change his attire, but Yi Xia declined. According to him, these were all made by the old man himself. It was symbolic. Lin Feng let him be. After all, for a saint power cultivator, defense was not essential. Being approached by a warrior was almost equivalent to a death sentence for a saint power cultivator. Especially, Yi Xia's physical strength was very weak. You also want to participate in the preliminary test? Lin Feng asked curiously. In his opinion, Yi Xia's strength did not need to participate in the preliminary test. His cultivation as a saint power cultivator was too strong. It's fun. Yi Xia grinned. The significance of the preliminary test was to eliminate warriors who were not strong enough. For Yi Xia, who aspired to be the champion, the preliminary test was indeed like a game. Actually, those people from the Glory Alliance don't have good eyesight. Yi Xia sneered. They can't see through my strength. Brother Lin, they can't see through your strength either. It's just an undeserved reputation. Oh. Lin Feng looked at Yi Xia. Yi Xia pointed to his temple. My intuition is very accurate. Brother Lin, your strength is at least at the Nirvana stage. Lin Feng smiled. Cultivators of the sacred power had stronger innate souls than others. What about you? Lin Feng asked. Yi Xia laughed. If I say that I have the strength of a saint, Brother Lin, would you believe me? Yes. Lin Feng did not hesitate. Their eyes met, and Yi Xia revealed a meaningful smile. They did not talk for too long. Soon, one by one, the participants entered. Except for Lin Feng, all of them were strong warriors of the first week. Most of them were upper-level warriors of the first week. There were very few lower-level warriors of the first week who dared to participate in the Battle of Glory Star, let alone a 9th-level warrior like Lin Feng. It was no wonder that everyone was surprised. Okay, your group is here. The Glory Alliance soldier who had been standing at the edge of the mirrors said. I will briefly explain the rules of the preliminary test. The location of the preliminary test is the mirror world in front of you. You may be shocked and surprised when you enter, but there is no need to panic because everything inside is not real. You can treat it as a mirror world and do anything. Mirror world? Lin Feng was thoughtful. There seemed to be something special inside. Light up the Glory Star ring on your hand, and you pass the preliminary test. Just a reminder, the Glory Star ring has 10 colors. They are white at the beginning, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, purple, and the last 2 colors are black and 7 colors. The darker the color, the more you will benefit. The time limit for the preliminary test is 1 day. After the Glory Star ring is lit, you can leave. As long as you light it up, you will pass the preliminary test. Okay, let's begin. Then, the Glory Alliance soldier opened the mirror world. Lin Feng and Yi Xia looked at each other and nodded with a smile. Then they entered. I wish everyone a happy winter solstice carrot. To be continued. Chapter 625. Mirror World. It was a mirror-like world, magical and special. Inside, there were intertwined mirrors that covered the entire white and transparent illusory area. It was like a dream. Lin Feng was a little surprised and curious as he looked around. Yi Xia and the others who were also participating in the preliminary test were also puzzled as they looked at each other. So, how do you light up the glorious star ring? One of the youths asked. I don't know. It doesn't seem to say anything. Everyone began to discuss the matter. Lin Feng and Yi Xia glanced at each other. Compared to the other 8 unfamiliar martial artists, the relationship between the two of them was obviously much closer. Do you know how to light up the glorious star ring, Brother Lin? Yi Xia asked. I can guess. Lin Feng nodded. Can you tell me? Yi Xia looked forward to it. Lin Feng pointed at the intertwined mirrors. Since this is a mirror world, the key is in the mirrors. No matter how you look at it, these mirrors are related to the preliminary test. If my guess is correct, you can just find a mirror and try it on yourself. Yi Xia's eyes lit up. He rubbed his hands and said, Okay. As he spoke, he impatiently ran towards the nearest mirror. The other 8 martial artists looked over, curiosity mixed with caution. They whispered and carefully watched. Lin Feng didn't wait and walked towards another mirror. Since this was the preliminary test, it was definitely a one-on-one test. After all, this was a battle of Glorious Star. There's an energy response. Lin Feng soon discovered his secret. When he had rested in the Blood Evil Temple for 7 days, the Blood Evil Temple would release a rich energy to repair the Blood Slaughter token. The energy stored in the mirror seemed to be connected to the brilliant star ring in the same way. This was it. Pa! Lin Feng touched the mirror in front of him. In an instant, a wonderful feeling surged through his body. His entire body shook, and he entered a wonderful space. A mirror world. This is... Lin Feng didn't have time to recover. A middle-aged man with a long beard and armor suddenly appeared in front of him. With a loud shout, he pulled out his saber, his killing intent surging. Zizhou's strength was undoubtedly at the 9th stage, and his saber realm was profound. When he reached the peak of level 11, his aura was already extraordinary as soon as he attacked. 100 Refining Knife Valley? Lin Feng glanced at the mark on the long-bearded man's chest. The long-bearded man's saber technique roared out, as if it was refined steel. Lin Feng was completely sure. Even though the moves were different, the long-bearded man's saber art was very similar to Zhu Liang and Zhu Yu's saber art. It was indeed a saber art from the 100 Refinements Saber Valley. Pung! Lin Feng raised his saber to block and jumped back. To the current him, an ordinary Zizhou 9th stage powerhouse was simply not enough. Even without using titanium gray body, he could easily defeat his opponent. Looking at the long-bearded man in front of him, Lin Feng suddenly understood. So, this is the mirror world. He was not a real person. Instead, he was like the person in the mirror. No wonder the soldiers of the Glory Alliance said that you might be shocked and surprised, because everything inside is not real. You can treat it as a mirror world and do anything. In fact, the rules had already been explained clearly. Chi! The black saber in Lin Feng's hand flashed. Facing the long-bearded man's powerful saber move, a huge image of Chiyu appeared behind him. Frightening and sinister. Violent. With a shout, Lin Feng swung his saber down decisively. Kacha! The mirror shattered. The 8 contestants who were watching from the side opened their eyes wide. A figure slowly appeared. It was Lin Feng. Whoosh! The broken mirror turned into a stream of energy and was absorbed by the radiant star ring. Lin Feng looked at the round jade on the radiant star ring. At this time, the round jade had been filled up by almost 1/10 of its original size. As expected, Lin Feng nodded. In a split second, Brother Lin, hello. Can you tell us what happened just now? The 8 contestants immediately surrounded him. They were trying to curry favor. Lin Feng swept his gaze across the 8 people. Inside is a one-on-one battle. You just have to win. When you win enough, the glorious star ring will naturally light up. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Lin. They were very grateful. Lin Feng smiled. It was just a small matter. He told them there wouldn't be any changes. A one-on-one battle depended on one's strength. The accumulation of the glorious star ring could also prevent the existence of the so-called luck. If he wanted to light up the glorious star ring, he would need to kill about 10 9th rank powerhouses like Zizhou. Kacha! He was only a moment later than Lin Feng. Yixia also appeared. His eyes were no longer confused. Instead, they were enlightened. He looked over and raised his hand with a smile. Brother Lin, there were many mirrors. There was no end to it, and there was no end to it. Lin Feng appeared once again, and another mirror shattered. This time, the radiant star ring finally lit up, and the remaining 30% of the radiant star ring was filled up in one battle. The stronger the opponent, the more energy I can obtain. The easier it is to light it up. After shattering more than 10 mirrors, Lin Feng had basically grasped the trick. The warriors in the mirrors were usually divided into 3 levels: lower rank, middle rank, and upper rank. Of course, there were exceptions. For example, the old man in the mirror just now was an out-and-out Niemo powerhouse. The energy gained from killing him was more than killing 3 9th Order warriors. So, I have passed the preliminary test. Lin Feng looked at the glorious star ring on his hand and smiled. Less than 1% of the one-day time limit had passed. Half an hour later. It can't be, Brother Lin. Why did your glorious star ring turn red? Yixia exclaimed. The glorious star ring lit up white at first, then red. Lin Feng had entered the second stage. Just as the Glory Alliance soldiers said, the darker the color, the more benefits he would obtain. Lin Feng was not in a hurry to go out. The energy of heaven and earth in the mirror world was quite abundant, even more than outside. Moreover, it was quite interesting to compete with the powerhouses in the mirrors and see the various sects' saber and sword techniques. Little Xia, look carefully. The energy contained in each mirror is different. The stronger the energy, the stronger the warrior inside, Lin Feng said. Yixia suddenly understood. So, we have to find a mirror with more energy. Not necessarily, Lin Feng said. It's very likely that we will encounter a Nemo powerhouse and be eliminated directly. What's there to be afraid of? Yixia made a solemn vow and patted his chest. Brother Lin, have you forgotten what I told you? I have the strength of a sage. Okay, Lin Feng smiled. The preliminary test was too easy for Lin Feng and Yixia. After overcoming all difficulties, the color of the two's glorious star rings quickly rose to orange. What powerful energy! Lin Feng's expression changed slightly. He touched a mirror and instantly entered. The unprecedented power caused Lin Feng to tense up the moment he entered. The black skeleton in his hand flashed. This time, his opponent in the mirror was not simple. Chi! A cold light flashed. Lin Feng saw the appearance of his opponent, and his eyes widened. Chapter 626. A pair of sword-like eyebrows and starry eyes. He wore blue armor and had an imposing appearance. There were 5 sword scabbards at his waist. He was like a treasured sword hidden in a scabbard. Who could compete with him? The sect master of the god of 10 swords, Ao Jianhui. Lin Feng's eyes were filled with battle intent. The moment he saw Ao Jianhui, he erupted with all his strength. He had more or less figured out the secret of the mirror world. The experts sealed in the mirrors were the experts of the major forces who came to watch the Battle of Glory Star. Using the mirrors as images, he copied them into the mirror world. The image of the first time he saw Ao Jianhui appeared in his mind. In front of him, he was like an insignificant grain of sand at the foot of a mountain. Senior Baiyun, who had saved his life, died under Ao Jianhui's sword. Even he was almost poisoned to death. Seeing him again today, his desire to challenge was incomparably strong. Let me see how strong you are. Lin Feng released all the strength he had accumulated for a long time. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. 5 treasured swords flew out of their scabbards. Ao Jianhui's cold aura instantly descended. Ice crystal, sacred domain. Aurora shone brightly. This was a world sealed in ice and dust, covered in a layer of colorful rainbow walls. In this ice realm, there were 10 huge ice crystals erected in a huge circle. They were thousands of meters high and hundreds of meters wide at their widest point. Strange terrains flashed in the ice crystals. There were cliffs and precipices, battlefields with cold winds, and the rise and fall of fortresses. Has it started? Not yet. The preliminary test takes 1 day. We're a bit early. Come early. Get a good spot. Heads were rolling. Tens of thousands of experts from various continents had already entered the ice crystal sacred domain. They were in groups of 3 to 5. Most of them were experts in the fetal and first week. Occasionally, there were experts in the Qi cloud stage. They were brought here by their elders to broaden their horizons. I like watching the second test the most. Me too. When a group of Heaven's Prides fight, the one who stands out in the end might not necessarily be the strongest. Not necessarily. When one's battle strength is strong enough, there are also super geniuses who can crush the younger generation. For example, the yellow plague from the previous batch. His yellow corpse poison gas, coupled with the assassination techniques of the ghost assassin, can be said to have killed anyone in his way in the second round. What's the use of that? The second test is only for the best among the young seedlings. The true Glorious Star experts are all exempted from the test. The Ice Crystal Sacred Land was the place to watch the battle. Every Battle of Gloria Star would attract experts from all the major powers in the 33 continents. He observed the geniuses standing at the peak of the 33 continents. These proud sons of heaven were not only the elites of the major sects, but they would also be the main force of the Nirvana world in the future. From time to time, some outstanding talents would emerge, hidden geniuses, and the various major powers would fight over them. Clang! A shocking sword intent appeared, causing the ice crystal holy land to tremble. Everyone looked over, only to see more than 10 experts proudly entering, each with a treasure sword on their waists. The one in the lead was as unapproachable as the sky. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Everyone opened up a path to show their respect. It was ranked second among the top 10 sections. Nirvana God Sect. God slaying 10 swords. Wow, it's really sect leader AO. So impressive, so powerful. So this is the Nirvana God Sect. Sighs and discussions could be heard from the crowd. From many cultivators, watching the battle wasn't necessarily just for the Battle of Gloria Star. There were also many who came to see or even make friends with the top figures of the 33 continents. Even if it was just a word or a face, they were willing to do so. A.O. Jianhui wasn't the first expert to come. At the Ice Crystal Sacred Land, 4 of the top 10 sects had already arrived. The 4th-ranked Blood Manor, the 5th-ranked Crimson Rainbow Temple, the 8th-ranked Slaying Sword Palace, and the 10th-ranked Icy Mountain Ridge. There were also local forces from the various continents, such as the Eastcom continent closest to the Glory World, the East Pole Palace, and the Fire Cup sect. Among the 5 major powers, the Rising Sun Chamber of Commerce and the Valley of 10,000 Medicine had already arrived. Unlike the Nirvana God Sect, the Rising Sun Chamber of Commerce and the Valley of 10,000 Medicine had more people. As time passed, almost all the major powers would arrive before the second test of the Battle of Gloria Star began. Bang! It was as if he had fallen from the clouds. Lin Feng wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and clenched his teeth. His clenched fists and Black Lotus were trembling, just like his heart. A black haze flashed across his eyes, then dissipated in an instant. Hatred and helplessness intertwined and turned into light. Even though he was injured, Lin Feng still stood tall. Just like the Blood Fiend field, although one would not die in the mirror world, injuries were unavoidable. A crushing defeat. Because of their consciousness, the experts in the mirror world were generally weaker than enlightened masters. But they were still no match. A true Nirvana expert. His Saint Chi and the soul of the earth are perfectly compatible. The Thunder Dragon's Saint Chi alone is too much of a disadvantage. His sword technique has also reached the peak of the 12th level, just like blowing snow. Using swords as a formation, he defeated me with just 5 swords. Amazing. He's really strong. This battle left a deep impression on Lin Feng, because in his heart, A.O. Jianhui wasn't just an enemy, but also a goal, a hurdle he had to overcome. He had to overcome it. In this battle, his strength was only at the peak level of 9 blood. His true strength, at least 10 blood. 10 blood. Humans who reached the Nirvana level were divided into 3 levels: Nirvana, Saint, and Nirvana. The lower level of the Nirvana Ascension stage was equivalent to 7 bloodlines. The middle level of the Nirvana Ascension stage was equivalent to 8 bloodlines. The upper level of the Nirvana Ascension stage was equivalent to 9 bloodlines. And the 10th bloodline was equivalent to the lower level of the Saint Ascension stage. Phew! Lin Feng let out a long breath. He wasn't disappointed or discouraged. Even now, the blood in his body was still burning and boiling. The battle in the mirror world was very important. It showed him clearly how big the gap was between his strength and A.O. Jianhui's. At least I've improved a lot. Thinking back to a year ago, he was like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. But now he was able to fight. Give me 1 more year, and I'll kill him. Lin Feng was determined. Number 800, you've passed the preliminary test. The Glory Alliance soldier glanced at Lin Feng's Glory Star Ring. Choose any cocoon grotto heaven to rest in. Okay. Lin Feng nodded. Then he walked in the direction the Glory Alliance soldier pointed. The path ahead was wide, and there were cocoon-like cocoon grotto heavens on both sides. Some of them had already gathered and were milky white in color. Most of them were still transparent and could be seen clearly from the outside. They were only about 5 to 10 square meters in size and were clear and bright. Ta! Lin Feng entered. In an instant, rich natural energy descended and sealed the cocoon grotto heaven like a cocoon. What a powerful energy of heaven and earth. Lin Feng could feel his whirlpool body begin to madly absorb the energy, and he revealed a smile. It didn't seem like it was a bad thing to come out injured earlier. Chapter 6:27. The first test was usually relatively simple. Basically, the contestants could quickly figure out the rules, and the passing rate was also quite impressive. Apart from a few 5 blood combatants, most of the contestants in the Battle of Glory had 6 blood or 7 blood combatants. The first test was more of a general screening to eliminate the contestants who were only there to make up the numbers. Are the statistics out? 105 people passed the first test. The passing rate is 63%. Oh, there are nearly 0 more people than the last one. Not only that, the passing rate is also high. The 33 continents have been steadily growing for hundreds of years. It's quite good. 5 men and 2 women, dressed in red and black battle armor, with glory medals on their shoulder blades, were discussing. Compared to those sergeants, their status was undoubtedly higher. The glory medals on their shoulder blades represented their status in the Glory Alliance. Even if they did not reveal their aura, they could still feel that they were stronger than others. Every one of them had a stronger aura and strength than Ao Jianwei. Honorary sergeants. 677 people with glory star rings in white, 35 in red, 101 in orange, 63 in yellow, and green. 10 people. Not bad. There are actually 10 people who are green in this year's preliminary test. In the previous years, there were only 7 at most. Wait, the total number seems to be wrong? There are still 3 left. There are actually people who condensed glory star rings to blue in the first test, and there are 3 of them. Are there so many fish that escaped the net this time? Let me look at the information. Oh, Lu Yiming, 1 year old, 9th level of Zizhou, Blood Shadow. Number, 8th level of Zizhou, Yixia, 16 years old. Strength, unknown. Who is this Yixia? What's with the unknown strength? Men, go find the honorary sergeants in charge of strength registration. Yes, sir. Ice Crystal Holy Land. Compared to a day ago, there are more people now. The 100 major sects were all present. More than 95% of the top 1,000 sects in the 33 continents were present. The various hidden families and local forces had gathered hundreds of thousands of people. The Battle of Glory Star was a big gathering of the top forces in the 33 continents. The 5 super forces were now gathered, including the Blood Tower. It was even rarer that all 5 Hall Masters were present. Together with the rest of the Blood Assassins, the 100-man team could not be compared to the Treasure Refining Sect or the Rising Sun Chamber of Commerce. However, the strength of their aura was the best among the 5 superpowers. The weakest of the Blood Assassins was at least 7 bloodlines. The 5 Temple Masters were terrifying existences with 10 bloodlines. Manzi, Ronghua, and Tuoba, you all directly passed the test. Grandpa Ba nodded with satisfaction. Among the 5 major powers, our Shuelo has the most people who pass the test. There are 10 spots for advancement in the semifinals. We should be able to take down 2 of them, Bone King said coldly. The quota is not important. What's important is the championship. Hong Ying was dressed in red, and her black hair was draped over her shoulders. She pouted her red lips and said, "The Celestial Pavilion has the fewest people, but they have the most chances to enter the path of glory." Humph! Bone King's face was cold. This time, my disciple, Ronghua, is determined to win. Hong Ying giggled. I don't think so. Ronghua has the possibility to win the championship, and Manzi and Tuoba, you have the possibility to enter the top 4. He Xiong said in a low voice. As for the other members, there might be some unexpected surprises. For example, Bifone with 8 bloodlines, Blood Shadow with 7 bloodlines, and Titan with 6 bloodlines. There's a period of climbing from the semifinals to the final battle, so there's a chance. You're missing one. Hey, Xiong. Yin Xing's face was cold. Don't tell me you're talking about Lin Feng? Bone King sneered. Lin Feng? Grandpa Ba frowned slightly. I remember that he should have participated in the Battle of Hidden Star at Fetus Week. Hong Ying's beautiful eyes brightened, and she smiled while covering her mouth. Perhaps our Xuelo can win both championships this time. Yun Xing shook his head. With Lin Feng's character, he'll definitely participate in the Battle of Glory. Everyone was stunned. Participating in the Battle of Glory in Fetus Week? Bone King's eyes were filled with disdain. It's impossible to pass the semifinals. Grandpa Ba shook his head. This is not called courage. It's called overestimating one's strength. If that's the case, it's a pity. He Xiong shook his head regretfully. Yin Xing's face was cold. He didn't say much. He was the one who promoted Lin Feng, so he knew best. Let them see the real combat power of someone who can enter the fifth realm of the bloody evil world. Yin Xing's eyes flashed. One day of the preliminary test, one day of rest. Then, the semifinals would begin. The main purpose was to let the contestants who were injured in the preliminary test recover. The heaven and earth energy in the cocoon cave was quite abundant, comparable to the Nirvana world. For Lin Feng, this one day was more than several days in the outside world. His soul of talent and soul of earth were already at the critical limit, and now he was on the verge of breaking through. The cocoon cave was opened, and Lin Feng secretly sighed with regret. Even if he had another hour, he would have broken through the shackles and officially entered Fetus Week. The heaven and earth energy in the cocoon cave was quite abundant, comparable to the Nirvana world. The incomparably pure heaven and earth energy could be absorbed by the whirlpool body to the extreme. The semifinals are about to begin. Lin Feng collected his thoughts and stepped out of the cocoon cave. All around him were martial artists like him. They were nervous, excited, and expectant. There were all kinds of expressions. The intensity of the martial artists' auras was different from the preliminary test. These were all advanced martial artists who passed the first test, and their average strength was much stronger. There were more than 1,000 people. Lin Feng followed the crowd and walked towards the only passage. Soon, Lin Feng's eyes lit up. The passage suddenly opened up, and there were 10 stairs. The front was like a palace in ice. Different scenes were reflected in the mirage, like a painting. Lin Feng looked down, and his gaze landed on a man with a buzz cut in front of the stairs. He was wearing a red and black battle armor, and there seemed to be a badge that symbolized glory on his shoulder blade. The buzz-cut man was dressed differently from the other glory sergeants. His status was higher. Glory sergeant, Lin Feng thought. In the glory union, his status was higher than that of the glory sergeants. He was a martial artist in the sage realm. First of all, congratulations to the 105 of you for passing the preliminary test. The glory sergeant opened his mouth and said, "Next is the semifinals. Every staircase above is connected to an independent realm, or to you. It could be called battlefield. Every battlefield is fair, but the geographical environment is different. Those who are proficient in assassination and ambush can choose dense places like forests and cities. Those who like to fight alone can choose mountains, cliffs, mazes, and secret rooms. Those who like chaotic battles can choose battlefields, arenas, and so on. I will give you 5 minutes to consider. After that, you can choose from the energy of the glorious star ring to enter one by one. The rules of the semifinals are that every battlefield, only one person can survive in the end." Bang! As the glory sergeant finished speaking, there was a suffocating silence. Only 10 people were selected for the semifinals. Chapter 628. Lighting up the glorious star ring would allow one to advance. But the darker the color of the glorious star ring, the more benefits one would receive. The honorable sergeant's reminder during the first test was still vivid in his mind. Lin Feng finally understood that it was related to the order of the second test. The 10 battlefields were chosen one by one according to the energy of the glorious star ring. The order was particularly important. That is to say, the better the performance of the first test, the stronger the warrior, the later he can choose. Lin Feng quickly understood. Those who performed poorly in the first test had to resign themselves to fate. The Battle of Glorious Star was indeed cruel. The elimination rate of 105 warriors in the second test was as high as 99%. Only 10 people were chosen, so the order was particularly important. The strength of those warriors with green and blue Glorious Star rings was obvious. The chance of advancing in the same battlefield as them would undoubtedly drop to a freezing point. It was normal for the rules of the Battle of Glorious Star to favor the strong. After all, the Battle of Glorious Star was to choose the champion. There was only one place on the road of glory. In addition, I'd like to remind you, the Honorable Sergeant suddenly said, battlefields with many people and fierce competition may not be bad. The more you pay, the more you gain. With a low voice, the Honorable Sergeant clasped his hands behind his back and said no more. The ambiguous words immediately caused a heated discussion. Lin Feng pondered, just like the first test, it seems that it will most likely affect the third stage of the Battle of Glorious Star. It's very likely to be the ranking. Lin Feng looked up at the 10 stairs above. The battlefields reflected in the ice palaces were hesitant. The right time, the right place, and the right people. Geographical advantage was very important. My holy chi is strongest in the way of thunder and way of darkness, but both are mediocre in any battlefield. There is neither advantage nor disadvantage. The 10 battlefields are forests. The volcanic area, desert, and ocean can be ruled out first. Lin Feng made the first decision. The volcanic area was advantageous for warriors who cultivated the holy chi of fire, and the ocean was advantageous for warriors who cultivated the holy chi of water. He didn't care about these, but the other martial artists would also think of this. In other words, the number of warriors entering these 4 battlefields must be the least. I've already lost the initiative in the first round. I'll earn it back in the second round. Lin Feng's eyes were as sharp as torches. Looking directly at the remaining 6 battlefields, they were respectively a large city, a precipitous cliff, a labyrinth with layers of illusions, a boundless battlefield, an arena with rumbling war drums, and a small planet. Actually, the maze suits me very well. Lin Feng knew very well. With the true pupil holy power and the true dragon holy power, he had a great advantage in the maze of illusions. But compared to the other 5 battlefields, the labyrinth chamber should have chosen the least number of people. Besides, little Xia is also a saint power cultivator, so she should choose this battlefield, Lin Feng said softly. It would be best if they did not encounter each other in the semifinals. After all, only one person could qualify for the next round. If they really had to fight to the death for that qualification, it would be a little cruel. Xue Xue will probably choose after me, so there's no need to worry. I just need to choose a battlefield with the most people. Yes, let's wait and see. Lin Feng made up his mind. No matter what, he was orange in the first round, although it was not the highest. It was at least the middle to upper level. When it was his turn, he estimated that more than 80% of the warriors would have already made their choice. What he needed to do was very simple. Choose the one with the most people. It seems that there will be a big battle in the semifinals. It will be quite exciting. Lin Feng's eyes lit up, and he was looking forward to it. He was originally a battle-hungry person. 5 minutes. In the blink of an eye. Number 155. Number 1501. Number 399. The honorary captains called out the numbers one by one. Every warrior only had 5 seconds to choose. After 5 minutes of consideration, every warrior basically had a decision in their heart. The first choice, the second, and even the third choice. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The warriors passed through the stairs one by one. In front of each battlefield, there were honorary captains calling out numbers. At the same time, they recorded the numbers that entered the battlefield. Just as Lin Feng expected, the large city, precipitous cliff, labyrinth, battlefield, arena, and small planet. These 6 battlefields had the most people entering. Soon, 677 people in white, 35 people in red. About 80% of the participants have already entered. At this time, there were much fewer people in the arena. Lin Feng already saw a few familiar figures, Chueshue, Yixia, Titan, Jiandandan, and Blood Shadow. Their eyes met. Lin Feng nodded to Blood Shadow and pointed at the battlefield in front of him. Unexpectedly, Blood Shadow shook his head. It seems that he wants a one-on-one battle. Lin Feng did not mind. After all, after passing the semifinals, he would very likely meet Blood Shadow. With his strength, passing the semifinals should not be a problem. The orange numbers on the Glorious Star ring were called out one by one. Lin Feng waited patiently. His eyes were already on the arena. Actually, it was a little unexpected, because in his opinion, the large city and precipitous cliff were the two best battlefields. They were usually fair one-on-one battles. But on second thought, he felt relieved. It was true from his point of view, but what about from the other contestants' point of view? Only one person could qualify for each battlefield. In other words, it was harder for many participants with only 6 blood to qualify. And miracles were often easy to happen in chaotic battles. The arena can be seen through at a glance. Even if it can accommodate 1/10 of the people, it will still be crowded. Those who have green and blue Glorious Star rings will be attacked from all sides at the beginning. This is not only common knowledge, but also inevitable. Therefore, the one who emerges from the gladiator arena is usually not the strongest one. Luck plays a very important role. Lin Feng pondered. Number 800. The Honorable Lieutenant reported the number expressionlessly. Lin Feng's figure flashed out of the line. Lin Feng, a young man wearing a black cloak with a thunderbolt on his forehead, opened his eyes wide. He was the second son of Wang Qihe, the leader of Thunderbolt Palace. He was Black Shadow Blade Wang Liao, who had invited Lin Feng to join Thunderbolt Palace. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Blood Shadow, Yixia, Blowing Snow, Titan, and Jiandandan. Everyone's eyes lit up. Lin Feng smiled slightly and directly stepped onto the stairs leading to the arena. His figure flashed and disappeared. The selection for the semi-finals continued. After Lin Feng, Wang Liao chose the small planet battlefield. Blowing Snow chose the precipitous cliff. The orange, yellow, and green Glorious Star rings were selected one after another. In the end, there were only 3 people left. The 3 blue Glorious Star rings were Lu Yiming, Blood Shadow, and Yixia. 3 pairs of eyes, 3 sharp lights, seemed to be secretly competing with each other, waiting for the Honorable Lieutenant's final judgment. The order also represented the results of the preliminary test. Who was the strongest among the 3? Chapter 629. Number 88. The Honorary Sergeant reported the number. Lu Yiming's thick eyebrows furrowed, his fists clenched tightly, and a tyrannical qi burst out, venting his anger. Raising his eyebrows and looking at Yixia and Blood Shadow, Lu Yiming puffed out his chest, provocatively showing off his muscular body, and snorted coldly. Then, he turned and walked to the 4th step. In the arena, he, Lu Yiming, came for glory for the sect. What he wanted was to amaze the world. Number 1008. The Honorary Sergeant reported another number. A light flashed in Blood Shadow's eyes. He was not as high profile as Lu Yiming and went straight to the 7th step. Although he wanted to fight with Lin Feng, he did not want to fight in a free-for-all. He wanted to win one-on-one without holding back. See you in the main competition, Lin Feng. Blood Shadow's low voice penetrated. The labyrinth secret room was most suitable for Saint Power cultivators. In the arena, only Yixia was left. The Honorary Sergeant looked over, and Yixia grinned. His 2 big toes moved outside his straw sandals, and his starry eyes swept across the 10 battlefields. He laughed and unexpectedly chose the 7th step. In the labyrinth secret room, the Honorary Sergeant's cold expression revealed a sneer. Interesting little guy. TSK, only 16 years old, and his talent soul is so terrifying. No wonder I can't detect his strength level. No matter how strong he is, there are only a few in the entire Nirvana world with this terrifying aptitude. Yixia and Goddess Wakaman, there will be many good seedlings in this Battle of Glory Star. Report to the commander immediately. In the Ice Crystal Sacred Realm, The colorful rainbow wall flashed with fluorescent lights, and in the center stood 10 huge ice crystals that were completely bright. Like a mirage, images were projected one after another. Each ice mirror was thousands of meters high, and every part of the 10 battlefields could be seen on the ice crystals. Ha, it's finally begun. After waiting for a long time, I can finally feast my eyes. Let's see how powerful the top geniuses of the 33 continents are. Wu Qi of the Slaying Sword Palace. His glorious star ring is green. That goes without saying. He's an expert ranked 44th on the glorious stars list. He'll definitely be able to get one of the 10 spots. The Cliff Battlefield also has a green radiant star ring. 8 Trigram's Palace's Ho Bai, ranked 57th on the glorious star ranking. Oh, there's also a green glorious star ring in the Cliff Battlefield. It's the Blood Clan's Golden Wizard Bell. It can't be, right? Why is there another one there? Crazy, there are actually 3 green brilliant star rings in the Cliff Battlefield. This is too tragic. My God, look! Is that the blue brilliant star ring? It's blue. Arena? Who was this muscular man? He looked unfamiliar. He's definitely not on the glorious stars list. It's normal. There are many hidden experts in the 33 continents, and there are many ancient sects and clans that have declined. Many of the elites trained by the 5 superpowers are unknown to the public. Perhaps they're the blood assassins of Blood Tower or the super elites trained by the Myriad Medicine Valley. A blue brilliant star ring. TSK. He will probably be the one to qualify for the Gladiator Arena. With the start of the second round, the peaceful ice crystal sacred realm became lively. Everyone was in a heated discussion. Liu Yiming was the first blue brilliant star ring to be discovered. He immediately became the focus of attention. Especially, he had never appeared in the 33 continents. Under the halo of mystery and genius, it naturally made people more curious. Only an old man with his hands behind his back squinted his eyes, looking sage-like. My 5-bird sect is still proud in the Nirvana world, but it has declined in the 33 continents. The sage-like old man sighed helplessly. 5-bird sect used to be an important sect, but after a split and internal strife, it gradually declined. After decades of silence, it finally has a chance to rise. Although Yiming has the arrogance of a young man, a genius will always have some temper. The flaw does not obscure the jade. With his strength, he will definitely pass the second round. As long as he can enter the main round, 5-bird sect will be able to make a name for itself and regain its glory. In the Gladiator Arena, Lin Feng was waiting. His vision was blocked, and his body seemed to be sealed, but his senses were still there, as if he was hit by the body-fixing technique. Not everyone is here yet. Although Lin Feng had not experienced the Battle of the Brilliant Star Ring, he could roughly guess. After all, the arena was only so big. If the first to enter appeared first, there was no need to compete, because the first to enter did not even have a 1 in 10,000 chance. There was indeed a sequence, but the second round would definitely start at the same time. Just as he was thinking, suddenly, rumble. The ground under his feet shook violently, as if it was collapsing, and the surrounding space changed instantly. Light flashed in front of his eyes, and Lin Feng suddenly felt the power binding his body disappear without a trace. With a thought, the black tortoise appeared in his hand. Lin Feng would not be careless. Compared to the other 9 battlefields, the battle in the arena would definitely end the fastest, from the first second to the end. There was no room for negligence. Ha! Lin Feng appeared instantly. With a glance, the entire arena entered his eyes. Looking around, he saw familiar figures. Another advantage of entering the battlefield late was that he could recognize other martial artists who entered the arena, especially their strength. Hua! In an instant, Lin Feng locked onto 3 threats. One was in front of him, and the other 2 were to the east and southeast. Blue Brilliance Star Ring. Although it was only a glimpse, Lin Feng had already headed west to avoid the strong enemies. It was irrational to face nearly 200 opponents alone, especially when every one of them had 6 or 7 blood combat power. Once surrounded, it would be quite troublesome. Boom! The battle was about to begin. Lin Feng directly faced a blue-haired youth who was also wielding a blade. Clang! Clang! The black tortoise retracted its aura. Lin Feng did not use his titanium gray body and retreated as he fought. He leaned toward the corner of the arena, where he had to face fewer attacks at the same time. The blue-haired youth roared, his blade burning like flames, its power incomparably ferocious. But to Lin Feng, this kind of blade move was too weak. Wait! Lin Feng took the attack head-on and used the momentum to retreat. There are too many people right now. It's not 100% safe yet, so I can't go all out. In the arena, you couldn't stay still because you would become a target. Instead, constantly moving and fighting was the safest way. His blood was already boiling. Lin Feng wanted to go on a killing spree, but right now wasn't the best time. At this time, Lin Feng didn't know that a pair of bloodshot eyes in the ice crystal sacred realm were staring at him. Ao Jianhui's body trembled slightly as the experts of the Nirvana sect gathered around him. His aura overflowed, causing people's hearts to tremble. Lin Feng, Ao Jianhui clenched his fists so hard that veins popped out. His teeth were about to shatter. I finally found you. Chapter 630. Ice Crystal Sacred Realm. There were 10 huge ice crystals. 2 of them attracted everyone's attention. One was the arena where the competition was fierce, and the other was the labyrinth. 2 blue glory star rings, and they are both rare sacred force cultivators. It's a pity to eliminate either of them. Just like the muscular man in the arena, both of them are unfamiliar. They are definitely not on the Glory Star list. There are too many hidden experts these days. With just one look, I can tell that the 2 of them are the real deal. The other contestants in this labyrinth are too unfortunate. It's the Thousand Illusion Valley. Hong Ing whispered. It was once the strongest illusion technique in the 33 continents. Unfortunately, it declined in the end. Master Boss stroked his long beard, his eyes blazing like torches. But this mountain lad is not simple. I'm afraid that his attainments in the art of illusion have surpassed his master, reaching an unimaginable realm. Blood Shadow is in danger. He Xiong muttered. Hong Ying's sleeves fluttered in the wind. Hey, Yin Xing, are you watching the arena? Yin Xing stared intently. 5 Bird Sect. Lord Ba was indeed the oldest, but he was also the most knowledgeable among the 5 palace masters. This sect established itself in the Nirvana world, but I didn't expect it to decline so quickly in the 33 continents. The world is unpredictable. Looking at this boy's bones and muscles, he should be good at ape force and bear force. He Xiong smiled. Hong Ying giggled. Who can compare to you in terms of bear force? He Xiong scratched his head embarrassedly. How many core members do we have in the arena? Bone King said coldly. 8 Blood Assassin Lu Yi, 2 7 Blood Assassins Hong Wenmu, and Wu Dong all have a chance to qualify. Especially Lu Yi. His strength in the arena should be second only to the successor of 5 Bird Sect. You missed one. Yin Xing's eyes were like torches. Lin Feng. He's really going to participate in the Battle of Glory Star. Lord Ba frowned. He likes to show off. He has the same personality as my Manzi. Hong Ying smiled like a mother-in-law looking at her son-in-law. Bone King glanced at Yin Xing. He pointed at the ice crystal. Him? At that moment, on the ice crystal screen, Lin Feng was in the midst of a fierce battle with a 6-blooded top-notch opponent. With Taizhou's strength, he was actually quite strong. In the Battle of Hidden Star, he could be considered top-notch. But in the Battle of Glory Star, a 6-blooded combatant, it was only at the lowest level. Gladiator Arena. Retreating as he fought, Lin Feng quickly retreated to a corner. His hidden strength was not the least bit noticeable. At this moment, the orange glorious star ring had become his protection. The holders of the yellow and green brilliant star rings were basically besieged. As for Lu Yiming, the only one with the blue brilliant star ring, he was even more heavily surrounded. The image of a giant ape flashed behind him. His muscles bulged, but he was incomparably agile, as if he had entered an unstoppable realm. He's too stubborn. Lin Feng tightened his grip on Hei Tung's hand. Pung! He collided with the blue-haired youth's attack. Flames and lightning intertwined as they fought fiercely again. Basically, no one else would participate in such an evenly matched battle. Although the mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. The problem was that even if one was the oriole in the gladiator arena, there were still vultures, eagles, and even dragons behind them. After the first wave of collisions, the number of people in the gladiator arena was reduced by half. The number of people was reduced to 100. Boom! An armored youth wearing a green brilliant star ring let out a shrill roar. His strength exploded. However, what followed was a total of 7 waves of energy intertwining. 2 fists were no match for 4 hands. In the end, the brilliant star ring exploded. The armored youth lost miserably. He had chosen the wrong battlefield, so he had no choice but to swallow the consequences of his failure. During this time, the number of participants with the yellow brilliant star ring had decreased from 9. Now, there were only 3 left. The situation was too horrible to look at. "All of you, get out of my way!" With a thunderous roar, a giant bear suddenly appeared in the void. Its terrifying aura was mixed with the power of a ferocious beast. Lu Yiming's muscles bulged, his muscles swelled, and his veins bulged. The terrifying energy instantly repelled the surrounding warriors. Pung! He moved like a cunning rabbit. Although his swollen muscles caused his speed to decrease, he was still as agile as an ape. 5 animal mimicry, bear force, 8 blood battle power, even close to the peak of 8 blood. Lin Feng's eyes were sharp. In the fierce battle with the blue-haired youth, he still had the energy to observe his surroundings. While dodging and blocking, he constantly changed his position to stay away from the other battlefields. On the other side, the blue-haired youth's heart trembled more and more as he fought. He originally thought that victory was in his grasp, but he suddenly realized that his opponent was like an unfathomable lake. However, he was already riding a tiger and could not get off. Fight! He must be an arrow at the end of its flight. The blue-haired youth clenched his teeth. His flaming energy surged violently. The second wave of fierce battles came to an end. There were less than 50 people left in the arena, and almost all of them were injured. Even someone as strong as Lu Yiming was covered in blood. His expression was ugly. At this time, his eyes were still filled with confidence and stubbornness. His arrogance turned into strength, and he continuously attacked his opponents who surrounded him. Pung! Pung! Every punch landed on flesh, but Lu Yiming's reaction speed decreased by a lot. The moment he killed his opponent, he would often be attacked and counterattacked. The giant bear behind him was dispirited and dim. The battle-treasured armor on his body had also begun to crack. His strength was less than 50%. However, he was much stronger than the other yellow and green Glorious Star Ring contestants. Because the yellow and above, he was the only one left. Ice Crystal Holy Land. Despicable and shameless brat. A.O. Jianwei's eyes were cold. He naturally could see that Lin Feng was pretending. He was even more familiar with Lin Feng than the 5 palace masters of the Blood Tower. He had done more research on him. He knew that Lin Feng had a secret skill. When he exploded, his body would flash with silver light, and his physical strength would increase by more than 10 times. However, he was not using it now. He did not even use a single blade technique from head to toe. If you have the ability, you should become the champion of the Glorious Star Battle and enter the path of glory. Otherwise, A.O. Jianwei's killing intent exploded. The moment you leave the world of glory is the moment you die. The 5th Palace Master of the Blood Tower frowned. The arena is too tragic. Lord Boss sighed softly. Lu Yi, Hong Wenmu, and Wu Dong all failed. Black Bear shook his head. Hong Ying smiled charmingly. The high-level Glorious Star Ring obtained in the first test has become a hindrance to them, making them the target of public criticism. No, they just chose the wrong battlefield. Other battlefields, even if they are a battlefield, are not as tragic as the arena. Lord Boss said, if you want to survive in the arena, you must have the strength to look down on others, or you must endure. Lord Boss's eyes were fixed on Lin Feng at this time. This little guy is indeed not simple. Hong Ying's beautiful eyes sparkled. Bone King snorted coldly. He will die a little later. Yin Xing rarely smiled. At this time, the scene in the ice crystal suddenly changed. Boom! Like a dragon roaring, it raised its head and went out to sea. He has started to make his move. Yin Xing's eyes shone brightly. Chapter 631. Impossible. The blue-haired young man's eyes were filled with fear. Plus, his last burst of fighting power didn't bring him a victory. Instead, it was a spring-like, horrifying counterattack. The blue-haired young man saw a thunder dragon opening its bloody mouth and swallowing him as easily as crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. Ha! In an instant, the blue-haired young man disappeared from the arena. Unless they were paying special attention to Lin Feng, no one would notice this scene. It ended like a fleeting cloud. After all, Lin Feng and the blue-haired young man had been fighting fiercely. It was reasonable for one of them to defeat the other. In the arena filled with sabers and swords, this was just the tip of the iceberg. There are still 45 left. Lin Feng quickly glanced over. The originally crowded gladiator arena seemed to have become much emptier now, especially when the center of the gladiator arena was currently in a chaotic battle. The only blue sparkle star ring holder was facing off against 7 martial artists who were fighting to the death. The weakest of the contestants who were still alive was at least a 7 blood battle power. Hua! Lin Feng's figure disappeared instantly. Boom! Boom! Lu Yiming's eyes were red. The giant bear and ape figures behind him seemed to have merged into one, fighting fiercely. At this moment, he was already regretting it. After leaving the sect, he was invincible, which made his confidence soar. He was aiming to be the champion of the Battle of the Glory Star. An arrogant soldier was bound to lose. Damn it! Lu Yiming wanted to kill all the ants in front of him. If he was in his peak condition, he could kill one of them with one punch. But now, all the contestants had joined forces to resist him. They wanted to drive him out of the arena. He didn't have the strength to do so. I will definitely win. Lu Yiming, will amaze everyone. His fighting spirit exploded. Lu Yiming's hysterical madness had a glimmer of hope of winning. But at this moment, the sound of something breaking through the air was heard. The golden light condensed into a giant golden dragon. It roared and soared into the sky. The dragon roared and formed the image of a dragon devouring its prey. If one looked carefully, it was formed by 33 golden feathers. Each golden feather was connected by energy. The giant golden dragon moved and went straight for Lu Yiming. An extremely fast attack. Almost at the same time as the dragon roared, the attack arrived. Bear power. Lu Yiming crossed his arms with bulging muscles, and the light of his chi formed a solid defense. This move had blocked countless killing moves, but this time, it was no longer effective. The golden dragon was like a spiraling diamond drill, instantly drilling through Lu Yiming's defenses. Pung! Lu Yiming screamed and fell backwards. This scene, all the cultivators who were besieging Lu Yiming were stupefied, their brains unable to react. But in an instant, everyone's eyes lit up and they rushed towards Lu Yiming in ecstasy. To them, it didn't matter who the attacker was. The important thing was the opportunity was here. Every contestant clearly knew that only by killing Lu Yiming would they have the slightest chance of qualifying. No! Lu Yiming's eyes widened in horror as he watched the crowd of martial artists pouncing on him like wolves and tigers. His heart was dead silent. He had lost. Ice Crystal's sacred land. How is this possible? In the crowd, the sage-like old man found it hard to accept reality. Looking at his beloved disciple being besieged and defeated, the old man's face turned pale. The Five Birds sect had been silent for decades. With Lu Yiming's extraordinary talent, they finally had the chance to rise. But they didn't expect him to fall in the semifinals before even entering the main competition. The next chance? No one knew when it would be. Yiming, oh Yiming, how many times have I told you? Pride is the biggest enemy. There is always someone better than you. There is always someone better than you. Remember this. The sage-like old man kept shaking his head. Looking at the ice crystal, he didn't look at the crowd of martial artists who had defeated Lu Yiming, but at the inconspicuous young man floating in the air in the distance. Others might not be able to see it, but how could he not know that Yiming's defeat was ultimately due to the Saint Power attack just now? Yiming lost because of his temperament. The old man closed his eyes. This child is a Saint Power cultivator. Lord Ba was pleasantly surprised. What a powerful attack. That move just now should have reached the top of the 8 blood level. Hong Ying's beautiful eyes sparkled. This little guy really gave me a big surprise. Black Bear suddenly realized, so his strongest move is Saint Power attack, not Saint Chi. Lin Feng's sudden outburst surprised the 3 palace masters. Bone King snorted coldly. Yun Xing didn't show any expression, as if everything was within his expectations, but in fact he was also shocked. He only knew that Lin Feng's spirit of the earth was powerful, and his close combat ability was far beyond his level. Who would have thought that his Saint Power attack was even more terrifying than Saint Chi? Lord Ba praised. The top of the 8 blood level attack is nothing. Many 8 blood assassins can reach that level. What's really admirable about this child is his temperament. He can endure and is very calm. Hong Ying said, I'm afraid his strength is not as good as the successor of the 5 Birds sect, but now he has eliminated the biggest threat in Scathe. Bone King said coldly, if he was smart enough, he could have endured a little longer. Now, I'm afraid he will follow in the footsteps of the successor of the 5 Birds sect. Everyone's heart skipped a beat. Indeed, after killing Lu Yiming, the martial artists immediately pointed their spears at Lin Feng. You're wrong, Bone King. Yun Xing said, it's not that Lin Feng can't endure anymore, but he doesn't want to win this second round secretly. With his character, since he made a move, then he must have full confidence. He wants to win beautifully. She was beautiful. Yun Xing's analysis of Lin Feng was quite accurate. For Lin Feng, it was entirely possible for him to drag out the battle until the end and obtain victory effortlessly. However, such a victory was completely meaningless. Moreover, after waiting for so long, Lin Feng's blood was boiling. Defeating Lu Yiming was just a warm-up. ZZZ, ZZZ, ZZZ. The Thunder Dragon turned into a thunder whirlpool, going straight from the Earth's core to the sky. Countless thunder dragons gathered and condensed into the top of the Heavenly Dipper, and a huge whirlpool spun rapidly. Lin Feng held the black skeleton in his hand. As he shouted, the thunder dragon, Saint Chi, burst out, and the thunder whirlpool fell instantly. Boom, boom, boom. The 7 martial artists, who had just killed Lu Yiming, were already at the end of their rope. How could they withstand such destruction? They could barely resist, but they could only delay their defeat. Lin Feng's aura continued to strengthen, and he was at ease. Heavenly Dipper demonic thunder array. The terrifying power ignited the war drums in the entire arena. Lin Feng was like a fierce tiger that had suddenly awakened after a long slumber. Amidst his wild roar, lightning shot out, and the Heavenly Dipper demonic thunder array let out a tragic sound. It instantly tore apart the defense of the 7 martial artists, alarming the entire arena. Lin Feng began to erupt. In the arena, the remaining 37 martial artists were shocked. They all looked toward the center of the arena. No one had expected such a powerful contestant to be hiding among them besides Lu Yiming. Moreover, he was even more terrifying than Lu Yiming. Clang! The black skeleton in Lin Feng's hand shone brightly. The rest, come meet together. Lin Feng's voice resounded in the arena. Chapter 632. Ice Crystal Sacred Realm. Everyone saw it. This kid's strength increased so quickly. A.O. Jianhui's eyes were cold as he stared at the ice crystal. Unlike the other cultivators, A.O. Jianhui's eyes were filled with hatred. His hatred for Lin Feng was unforgettable. For A.O. Lin, he gave up his position as a bastard son and came to the 33 continents to be a sect master. He lost his future and status, but now, everything was for naught. Not only will I kill you, but I'll also lock your soul so that you'll never be able to live again. A.O. Jianhui's eyes were bloodshot. He didn't put Lin Feng's strength in his eyes. But at this moment, the cultivators from the other sects were all stunned. Another one appeared. Before this, Lu Yiming's strength had already shocked them. But now, Lin Feng was even more terrifying. With his strength alone, he had forcefully challenged 37 opponents, one after another. None of his opponents could withstand a single blow from him. His tyrannical saber aura was innate, and there was nothing it couldn't conquer. What terrifying strength! In terms of battle strength, he's a bit weaker than that muscular guy, but his combat experience and intuition are too terrifying. He's Lin Feng. I recognize him. He's in the top 200 on the Glorious Star list. When he killed A.O. Lin, the young sect master of the Nirvana sect, he was close to the top 100. I thought he was already killed by the Nirvana sect. I didn't expect him to still be alive. It's over? That's too fast. Wait, I remember now. He seemed to have been fighting with Pu Xian, who had annihilated the Saber sect. He was too cunning, hiding his strength and waiting for the right moment to come out and clean up the mess. That muscular guy with the blue Glorious Star ring lost so miserably. This is what you call a battle of wits and courage. That muscular guy is too arrogant. Huh. The ice crystal slowly dimmed. This meant that the battle in the arena was over. The first place to pass the semifinals was won by Lin Feng. Blood Tower's fifth hall master was full of smiles. He felt good about winning. Not even a week later, He Xiong praised. He'll definitely become a 9-blood assassin in the future. Lord Ba was full of praise. Change his treatment and focus on nurturing him. Bone King coldly snorted. Lucky. Yun Xing nodded in satisfaction. Seeing Lin Feng acknowledge his talent, he felt gratified. Hong Ying's beautiful eyes sparkled, but no one knew what he was thinking. Gladiator Arena. It's over. Lin Feng put away Black Tigress. Fighting 37 opponents in a row was quite strenuous, and he had even suffered some injuries, but his mood was quite good. Compared to a sneaky victory, he preferred to fight in the open. This was a real competition. This was a real challenge. Almost. I need to use the titanium gray body, Lin Feng thought. If these 37 opponents were in perfect condition, it would be impossible to win without using titanium gray body. However, at this point in the battle, almost all of them were injured. Many of them had even damaged their vitality. Their average strength had been reduced by 50%. Even so, he had expended a lot of energy. It's a pity for him. There's a chance. Let's have a good one-on-one battle with him. Lin Feng thought of the muscular man in the blue radiant star ring. He also wanted to compete with him, but the problem was that the gladiator arena was not a suitable place. If he had fought with him from the start, even if he had defeated him, he would have become the target of public criticism. It would have been too difficult for him to survive the endless war of attrition. Lin Feng was a little confused. The battle was over, but he was still in the gladiator arena. How to get out? Lin Feng glanced at the radiant star ring in his hand and was stunned. The originally orange radiant star ring was now green, and the color was still changing. Oh, so this is the benefit that the honorary captain mentioned. Lin Feng instantly understood. The entire gladiator arena was sealed. Every contestant who was kicked out of the battlefield was eliminated through the protection of their radiant star ring. Therefore, after the radiant star rings were broken, the heaven and earth energy originally stored in them leaked out. It seems that all the heaven and earth energy belongs to me. I wonder, what color level will the radiant star ring reach after absorbing all of it? Lin Feng smiled slightly. In a short moment, the radiant star ring had turned blue. The energy was quite abundant. Blue, indigo, purple. Hiss, as the last energy was absorbed, Lin Feng was very satisfied. The radiant star ring had 10 colors. Now it had reached the 8th color. As the honorary captain said, the more effort, the greater the gain. Among the 10 battlefields, the gladiator arena had the most people. It was also the battlefield with the most energy in the radiant star ring. However, what's the use of the purple radiant star ring? Lin Feng was curious. Is it used for ranking like the semifinals? Or is it used for other purposes during the actual competition? Looking at the purple radiant star ring on his hand, Lin Feng's vision suddenly became hazy and blurry. A powerful energy hit him, bang, as if he was bounced away. The moment Lin Feng woke up, he had already arrived at New Passage. brilliant and colorful. What he saw was a familiar figure. You're the first to pass the semifinals. Congratulations, Lin Feng. The honorary captain looked at Lin Feng curiously, but soon returned to normal. But you have to wait for the other 9 battlefields to finish and rest for a day before continuing the actual competition. How long will it take? Lin Feng asked. The honorary captain replied, I don't know yet, but it will take at least 2 to 3 days. Lin Feng nodded. Some terrains, such as mazes, secret rooms, and forests, were easy to hide in. Unlike the gladiator arena, it was indeed not possible to determine the final winner in these battlefields within a few hours. So, Lin Feng looked at the honorary captain. Just like the first round, you can choose any cocoon grotto heaven to rest, the honorary captain said. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. This time, he had plenty of time. The cocoon grotto heaven was comparable to the nirvana world's energy and was far superior to the outside world. His current strength was on the verge of a breakthrough. Not to mention 2 to 3 days, even 2 to 3 hours would be more than enough. After breaking through the sub-week, his strength would improve further. Step into the 9 blood level. Lin Feng walked toward the cocoon grotto heaven, looking forward to it. Choosing the gladiator arena is indeed a wise choice. Lin Feng smiled. If it were any other battlefields, it would still be far from the end. All right, Lin Feng. The honorary captain's voice suddenly came from behind. Lin Feng was slightly surprised and stopped in his tracks. The honorary captain said, Let me remind you, the color energy of the glorious star ring can be used to exchange for treasures. Thank you. Lin Feng smiled and nodded, then entered the cocoon grotto heaven. In an instant, the rich energy of heaven and earth descended and sealed the cocoon grotto heaven like a cocoon. Glorious star ring, exchange for treasures? Lin Feng recalled the honorary captain's words. My purple glorious star ring should be able to exchange for something good, right? He smiled and didn't mind. After all, he didn't lack treasures at the moment. What he lacked was something that he urgently needed to improve, strength and rank. Let's begin sub-week. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. After rushing through the night, I hope everyone can subscribe to support Xiao Xiao and don't give out coins. Chapter 633. Ice Crystal, Sacred Realm. How many are exempted? Hong Ying asked. According to the rules, the top 10 on the Glorious Stars list are exempted. Lord Ba answered. In addition, there will be a strength evaluation before the preliminary test. Many people with excellent bloodlines and combat power will be exempted. About 10 of them. In addition to the 10 spots in the second test, the 30 people in the main competition will be absorbed by the Glory Alliance and become the backbone. The next stage is the top 8, Yin Xing said. Bone King snorted. Don't tell me you think Lin Feng can enter the top 8? Yun Xing was silent. Lord Ba frowned slightly. Although I like Lin Feng, he's only a martial artist in his first week. It's already a surprise that he can enter the main competition. It's too greedy to ask for more. As far as I know, the group of children participating in the Battle of Glorious Stars this year are all quite strong. Needle Demon from the Valley of Medicine, Shi Tian from the God Nirvana sect, and Wu Daozi from the Valley of Enlightenment are all at the 9th blood level. In terms of combat power, the Blood Tower belongs to us. Hong Ying smiled charmingly. Everyone nodded. In terms of overall strength, the Blood Tower was the strongest. Ronghua, Shi Manzi, and Tuobayu, the 3 9th blood assassins, held up the sky. There's also the big and small treasure from the Treasure Refining sect, Residual Wolf from the Blood Mansion, and by Jingxiu from the Slaying Sword Palace. I heard that they've all just entered the 9th blood level. Lord Ba said. As for the Goddess Wakaman, who's ranked first on the Glorious Stars list, she's undeniably the strongest. As far as I know, she's already at the 10th blood level. She's a rare genius in the Celestial Pavilion. Hong Ying nodded. To enter the top 8, one must at least have just entered the 9th blood level. Lord Ba nodded. Lin Feng's Saint Power attack can reach the top of the 8th blood level, but his strength level has become his limit. Saint Power's overall combat power is about the same as Saint Power. Lin Feng's combat power is at the 8th blood level. Even if he's lucky, he's improved during this period. At most, He's at the top of the 8th blood level. Black Bear said in a muffled voice. Actually, it's already unprecedented for a fetus to be able to enter the main competition of the Battle of Glory. That's right. Master Boss smiled and said, with Lin Feng's potential, he will definitely be the next fire melting after entering the first week. Or even stronger. The Battle of Glorious Stars was held once every 5 years, and Lin Feng was only 20 years old. Next time, if you're 25 years old, you'll definitely be the champion of the Battle of Glory. Cocoon Grotto Heaven. At this moment, Lin Feng was undergoing a transformation. Lin Feng's cultivation speed was still very fast from the 9th stage of fetus week to the 7th stage of child week, despite the fact that he was practicing dual cultivation. Whirlpool physique and Little Yun's terminating physique allowed Lin Feng to make a breakthrough in the Cocoon Heavenly Cave, which was comparable to the Nirvana world. The process. It was very familiar. The true Dragon Saint power had already undergone the transformation from the embryo star to the child star. Like the growth of an embryo, it gradually gave birth to a child star. With the nourishment of energy, the child stars gradually formed, bringing about a transformation in the level of power. Powerful heaven and earth energy covered his entire body. The first and second meridian diagrams shone brightly. It led to the advancement of the 7 martial spirits. Like gears turning, one after another, the third meridian diagram changed along with the advancement of the 7 martial spirits. Hua, Lin Feng's mind shook. It's here. Wu, accompanied by the 7 martial spirits shining. A powerful suction force came from the depths of his soul. It appeared once again. Lin Feng was not surprised. With the condensation of his heart, his entire body was instantly sucked into the mysterious whirlpool black hole. It was vast and boundless, as if it was the end of the world. The third time, although it was still pitch black compared to the second time he entered, the energy had increased by a lot, and its volume had expanded by a lot. It was a giant beast, a sleeping giant beast. As his cultivation increased, it continued to absorb nutrients. Lin Feng felt the power of the heart in his body increase once again, gathering from all directions in the mysterious whirlpool world. It was an invisible and indescribable power, but it was incomparably powerful. Overlord Battle Power, 3rd level. Lin Feng said softly, illusory and ethereal, straight into the heart, like power like the heavens. Talent Spirit, Spirit of the Earth, advanced. It brought a new level, a new realm, a new starting point, an endless absorption of heaven and earth's energy. His body seemed to have been hungry for a long time, greedily absorbing heaven and earth's energy. The rich energy in the Cocoon Grotto Heaven satisfied Lin Feng's needs. His cells, skin, meridians, and bones were clearly strengthened. The depths of his sea of consciousness were also constantly changing. If it was in the outside world, it would take at least a few days, but in here, it was completely saturated in just a few hours. The efficiency was extremely high. The time saved could be used for cultivation. Zizhou, 8th level. I now have a body strength comparable to Zizhou, 8th level of the titanium grade, 30 times increase. Comparable to a Nemo expert. Lin Feng was very satisfied. At present, although his strength was still limited, his physical fitness was no longer shackled and inferior. Even compared to other 6th level experts, he could at least be at an average level. And if he used the 8th level of the titanium grade, now I can finally see the backs of the 3 geniuses of the Shuelo. Lin Feng smiled. His current battle strength had already reached the initial 9th level. On this side, Lin Feng had a breakthrough in his cultivation. On the other side, the other 9 battlefields were in full swing. The first day of the semifinals had just passed, and for most of the battlefields, it had not really reached the stage of competition, especially in places with complicated terrains such as forests and mazes. Tracking and ambushing, all the contestants showed their strengths. And some battlefields with simple terrains had already begun to enter the middle, end, or even the end. It's over. The second contestant to pass the semifinals, Fist Sex Mangli. He is much stronger than the first Lin Feng. He punched his way through the battlefield, fair and square. There are at least dozens of heroes who have fallen under his fists. Unlike Lin Feng, who has been hiding from the beginning and carefully calculating. In fact, he is not strong enough. Please, how can this be compared? The battlefield is vast, and Mangli can at most face 2 or 3 enemies at the same time. Why don't you try it in the arena? That's right, and Mangli is ranked 12th on the Glorious Stars list. It is natural for him to pass. There was a lot of heated discussion. The Ice Crystal's sacred territory also became lively. Compared to those geniuses who were exempted from the first round, the contestants in the semifinals attracted more attention, especially Lin Feng, who was the first to pass. There were mixed praises and criticisms, and he was the most discussed at the moment. And at this moment, exclamations suddenly sounded in the Ice Crystal sacred territory. Quick, look at the maze secret room. They finally met. Damn, this is too exciting. Everyone looked at each other and held their breaths. Above one of the ice crystals, the scene of the maze secret room was reflected. 2 geniuses with blue Glorious Star rings in their hands were the most eye-catching in the first round. Blood Shadow and Yixia finally met on a narrow path. To be continued. Chapter 634. Everyone's attention was on them. Blood Shadow and Yixia attracted everyone's attention as soon as they appeared. 2 Saint Force cultivators, 2 blue Radiant Star rings, and Lu Yiming were the 3 people with the most outstanding performance in the first round. Although a Radiant Star ring's color didn't mean that they were weak, the higher the color, the stronger they were. Who was stronger, Yixia or Blood Shadow? Pairs of eyes stared at the ice crystal. The result of the battle was decided in an instant. A blue Radiant Star ring shattered. The battle between Saint Force cultivators was decided in an instant. Looking at the shattered light, Yixia's eyes were dim, and his face was slightly haggard. It seemed like an instant battle, but it was actually a fierce battle in the illusion. Such strong willpower. The old man is right. The 33 continents are full of strong people. Yixia took a deep breath. He closed his eyes and sat cross-legged to recover his strength. Boom! The ice crystal sacred realm was in an uproar. That mountain kid is so strong. He should be a Saint Force cultivator's illusion. I heard that the requirement for the soul is very high, but he's too young. The masked black-clothed youth is at least a mid-level Nirvana Ascension cultivator, but he was killed in an instant. The maze battlefield is settled. There's no doubt that Mountain Kid will advance. Even if it's the main competition, he should be very competitive. Everyone was amazed by Yixia's performance just now. The shock brought by the instant kill was even greater. Even the Blood Tower 5th Palace Master sighed. Blood Shadow didn't lose unjustly, said Lord Ba. The Thousand Illusion Valley is indeed the #1 illusion sect. This youth has the Thousand Illusion Valley's true inheritance. Even I might not be able to block him, said Hong Ying. To be precise, not many people in the 33 continents can block him. Lord Ba sighed. His talent soul is an entire level higher than Blood Shadow's. If it wasn't for the fact that his body hasn't reached the Chi Cloud stage, he would have reached the Nirvana stage long ago. Others might not understand, but the Blood Tower 5th Palace Master was very experienced. What kind of strength was this? Yixia's strength was shocking. He was a genius who emerged in the second round, one after another. First, there was Lin Feng and Lu Yiming. Then there was Yixia and Shuang. Everyone knew that the Dragon Clan would soar. Jinxing. Yunxing's voice was very soft, but it stunned the other palace masters. For pairs of eyes looked at each other in shock. That snow-white woman on the ice crystal moved her sword. The ice crystals seemed to have solidified. The sword in her hand was like a part of her body, as if she was the incarnation of the sword. Her holy chi was not extraordinary, and her physical quality was not strong, but her combat power was shockingly strong. New core member, 7 Blood Assassin, Snow Blowing. Baye's voice was heavy. Another 9 blood treatment, Black Bear said in a low voice. His sword realm is amazing. He condensed sword heart at the age of 20. Hong Ying's eyes were bright. Even in the Nirvana world, he would be a top talent. She looked at Yinxing. Hong Ying said, I remember that Yin Xing, you only managed to condense your sword heart when you were 35 years old, right? 36 years old. Yin Xing stared at Chue Shui. He didn't even try to hide his admiration for her talent. She is a true genius born for the sword. There were gains and losses. Things didn't always go as one wished. The geniuses who were ranked at the top of the Glorious Stars list were eliminated one after another. Unknown martial artists rose up one after another. Those who could pass the second round were all people with strength. They were able to kill their way out of the numerous elite geniuses and stand out from the crowd. This was the charm of the second round. The third to pass was the genius of the Rising Sun Chamber of Commerce, Chinyan. She was as good as any man. The fourth to pass was the 75th on the Glorious Stars list. He Ruoyong, who was not at the top, managed to survive in the cracks. He had the last laugh. The fifth to pass was Yixia. He broke out of the encirclement with an absolute advantage. Compared to the previous four, Yixia attracted the most attention. He was also the only one who was not exempted from the second round to enter the top 8. Cocoon Cave. Stepping into Zizhou, Lin Feng looked like a new person. After entering a new level and adapting to a new body, Lin Feng didn't stop moving forward because of that. With the help of the advanced extreme Yin body, the whirlpool body greedily absorbed the energy of heaven and earth 10 times that of the 33 continents. Lin Feng even took the initiative to absorb demon cores to strengthen his strength. Time was tight, but in this tight time, there was still a chance for him to improve. Pong! The dimming of the demon cores was absorbed by the third meridian diagram. Like a gear, the third meridian diagram became nutrients for the first and second meridian diagrams. The cultivation efficiency was even higher than the whirlpool body and the extreme Yin body. Zizhou stage. From a first stage to the second stage, the speed of improvement was very fast. Demon cores. Although Lin Feng was absorbing the demon cores, his heart was filled with doubts. From what he knew, it was impossible for humans to absorb demon cores. That was because they were condensed from the essence of dark matter during the cultivation of demon experts. But his third meridian diagram could absorb it. The giant beast sleeping in the black hole seemed to be able to swallow everything. It could actually absorb the energy of the demon cores for its own use. The power of my bloodline is really special. Lin Feng smiled. Could it be that I have the bloodline of the demon race? With a light heart, Lin Feng's cultivation came to an end. 3 days have passed since the second round. The 10 spots should have been decided by now. Blood Shadow, Yixia, they won't have any problems passing around. I wonder if Snow Chue will be able to enter the main competition. According to the honorary captain, the second round would take about 2 to 3 days. Adding the 1 day of rest, it would take at least 3 days and at most 4 days. Lin Feng's gaze fell on the glorious star ring that was emitting a purple light, and his heart was moved. After the initial test, he could clearly feel that the energy it contained was exceptionally abundant. That feeling, Dragon Abyss Pearl Chain? Lin Feng was startled, and then his eyes lit up. Just like the Dragon Abyss Pearl, this glorious star ring can also absorb and store energy, so it can also release energy. Lin Feng instantly sensed the glorious star ring. In an instant, a burst of dense energy gushed out from the glorious star ring. Lin Feng immediately revealed a happy expression. Sure enough, I can absorb the energy of the glorious star ring. It absorbs the pure energy of heaven and earth in the glory realm, and can directly improve the innate spirit and the spirit of the earth. Nodding his head, Lin Feng muttered to himself. At this moment, he finally understood why the honorary captain had specially reminded him before. The energy of the glorious star ring can be used to exchange for treasures. Lin Feng knew that the honorary captain had good intentions. After all, for the vast majority of warriors, the value of treasures was much greater than the energy of heaven and earth, especially purple, which was already the 8th color. If he were to absorb it like this, it would be a waste. But for himself, I need strength. Lin Feng made a decision. Treasures were just external objects. What he lacked right now was time and strength. Wah! The glorious star ring flashed, and the energy of heaven and earth surged into his body like a tidal wave. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. To be continued. Chapter 635. Ice Crystal, Sacred Realm. The ice crystals on all sides dimmed, and the place was bustling with noise. It's over. Lord Ba let out a long sigh. My luck is very good, but my luck is also very bad, Yin Xing slowly said. Everyone sighed. Luck was indeed good. Lin Feng and Shui Xue, who were originally treated with 8 blood, suddenly rose up and successfully took 2 spots. However, the other core members of Blood Tower were not so lucky. Blood Shadow Titan and Han Yu, who were originally treated with 9 blood, failed miserably. The other 8 blood assassins fought until the end but lacked luck. The average strength of this year's contestants is very high. Bone King's face was cold. Yes, Black Bear said, basically those who qualify are all at the 8th blood level, or even the top 8 blood. Redding smiled. Actually, it's not bad. We expected 2 to qualify. Bone King said coldly, even if 5 qualify, they are just vassals. After entering the main competition, they can really enter the top 8 and top 4. Those who compete for the championship are the contestants who are exempted from a test. Of those who enter the main competition through the second test, 1 can enter the top 8. Lord Ba stroked his long beard. Fire Melting and Manzi should be able to take 2 spots. Tuoba will have to depend on luck. After passing the second test, the Glory Star Ring can be exchanged for treasures, including the Glory Heart unique to the Glory Alliance. Redding said, Lin Feng and Shui Xue are lucky. Although their chances of entering the top 8 are slim, I don't know if they will be chosen by the Glory Alliance. After entering the main competition, 1 would be qualified to enter the Glory Alliance. With every step, 1 would receive better resources and cultivation conditions. The top 8 will be taken away by the Glory Alliance, regardless of the final result. However, some warriors who lost in the first round of the main competition might be chosen by the Glory Alliance and taken away. The difference in status. After entering the Glory Alliance, the training and cultivation conditions would be different. Whoosh! The energy of the cocoon paradise disappeared and it opened. Lin Feng took a deep breath and stood up. Then he walked out of the cocoon paradise. Soon, he saw the other 9 people. He was both happy and surprised. After looking at it carefully again, Lin Feng opened his mouth slightly and said in surprise, Blood Shadow has been eliminated? An unexpected result. Battle of Glorious Star. The competition is indeed fierce. Lin Feng thought to himself. He knew very well how strong Blood Shadow was, and he wasn't completely confident that he could defeat him. But, however, he had lost. Brother Lin. Yixia grinned and walked over. Blowing Snow nodded at Lin Feng. The 10 people who passed the second round looked at each other. He walked forward. Did it go smoothly? Lin Feng looked at Yixia. It's not that difficult. Yixia shrugged and smiled. Except for a black-clothed masked guy. He's a little tricky. Masked in black? Lin Feng asked. A Saint Forest cultivator? Yixia nodded. This guy's willpower is very strong, and he's extremely stubborn. He's like a poisonous scorpion, cold and vicious. Oh, Lin Feng was almost certain that Blood Shadow had been defeated by Yixia. Actually, it wasn't surprising. He had already known about Yixia's strength during the first round. This 16-year-old youth in front of him had a pure and innocent heart. His Saint Force cultivation was quite strong. I kind of believe it now, Lin Feng said. Believe what? Yixia was curious. Lin Feng smiled and said, I believe that you may really have the strength of the Saint Force. Yixia was stunned for a moment before bursting into laughter. Of course. The 10 people gathered. Lin Feng observed the crowd. Apart from Yixia and Shui Xue, the one he was most familiar with was Wang Zhua, a friend he had made in Dongling City. He had once accepted Wang Zhua's invitation to join Thunderbolt Palace, but he was betrayed and accidentally joined Blood Tower. At that time, he was already at the 9th step of Zizhou and ranked 137th on the Glorious Star list. Although his strength and rank had not changed, his battle strength had increased a lot. Moreover, he was the second son of Thunderbolt Palace's helmsman, Wang Chiha, so he didn't lack heaven-grade treasures. Now he was ranked 60th on the Glorious Star list, which showed that Wang Liao had improved. At this time, Wang Liao also looked over. He smiled and nodded at Lin Feng. Lin Feng smiled back and didn't say anything. Among the 3 people who might have betrayed him that day, Wang Liao was indeed the least suspicious. After all, he was the one who invited him to join Thunderbolt Palace. But no matter what, he couldn't let his guard down. He glanced at the other 6 people and recognized 5 of them. They were all top 100 experts on the Glorious Star list, such as Meng Li from the Gang Fist sect, who was ranked 12th, and Chun Yun from the Rising Sun Chamber of Commerce, who was ranked 18th. Before he came, he had already memorized the information of the top 100 experts on the Glorious Star list. The only one he didn't recognize was a bald young man who looked a little silly. He should be the same as Xiao Xia from a secluded clan, Lin Feng thought. First of all, congratulations on entering the main competition and obtaining the qualification to enter the Glorious Alliance. The Glorious Lieutenant said, "There's a reward for your efforts. Compared to the 20 contestants who were exempted, you have an extra exchange opportunity, which is the ring in your hand. Glorious Star Ring." As the Glorious Lieutenant spoke, he seemed to glance at Lin Feng. The other 9 people also looked at Lin Feng at this time. Only then did they notice the uniqueness of the Glorious Star Ring on Lin Feng's hand. Although it was still shining, it was the lowest level of white light. And the other 9 people, without exception, were all at the 7th level of indigo light. Lin Feng smiled slightly. The Glorious Lieutenant immediately turned around. "Follow me." Following the Glorious Lieutenant, everyone quickly entered a new world. Lin Feng looked around. It was as if he had entered the cloud's secret realm. It was pure white and flawless, with bubble-like round covers containing various treasures. Some were heavenly saint weapons emitting spiritual qi, some were rich in holy qi, and some were fragrant holy fruits. There were even giant eggs with a diameter of 10 meters and 5 colorful seeds. Aren't these the treasures of the Nirvana world? Lin Feng's eyes were opened. Although he didn't seem to have the qualification to exchange, it was good to broaden his knowledge. The worst of these treasures would probably cause a commotion in the 33 continents. Even so, he didn't regret his previous decision. You gain something, you lose something. The other 9 people were also stunned by the colorful treasures. This is the Glorious Treasure House. You are now on the 1st level of the treasure house. You can exchange any item here with your indigo Glorious Star Ring. The Glorious Lieutenant said seriously, "Compared to the 20 contestants who were exempted, you are generally weaker. But this is an opportunity to obtain treasures to enhance your combat power. Of course, this is just my personal suggestion. You can continue to accumulate colors and enter the 2nd level, the 3rd level, or directly absorb the energy of heaven and earth." The Glorious Lieutenant glanced at Lin Feng. To be continued.